All right. Hello. Welcome everybody to the ManaSurge card review. This is Jay-Z, and I'm joined by.
I'm Sprayquaza.
Sunfire X.
Carrie Keta.
And we're gonna be reviewing every single card in Starforged Legends. So first up is Mr. Full Moon. I've seen a lot of people get really excited because this card exists. It is a 6 PP 3/3 bronze neutral follower that has Fanfare, randomly change the attack of one of the strongest enemy followers in play to 1. And what kind of applications do you think a card like this has?
This is basically the Odin for Aegis. You're gonna tech it, and you're never gonna play it in any other application ever.
Yeah, I totally agree. Like, if Aegis is not a deck, you're never gonna run this card, pretty much.
I mean, Beauty and the Beast might not be a threat since neutral is gone, so this card's even worse than expected.
Yeah, seems like this card's not going to see very much play, unless Aegis is the top deck. I don't think it has enough impact against any other deck.
Yeah, and
Alright,
even then, it
yeah.
feels like somewhat weak.
Yeah, it doesn't even kill the Aegis. It just leaves it at 1 attack. It can still get buffed by Dark John later. It's still sitting on the board, being annoying. All right. Is that enough for that one?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So moving on, we have Nyx. Nyx is a 3PP 3/2. That gives an allied follower cannot be targeted by enemy spells and effects. What do we think of this one?
If neutral was still deck, I think this would be freaking amazing, because it prevents all those 2 PP spells if you went first. I think it's just so good at preventing your 2 or 3 drop from getting killed.
Yeah, I guess with these new cards, we have to take into account the fact that Alice is significantly weakened by the patch that's about to come out.
You know, I'm somewhat like partial on this card, only because it's basically like a neutral Mist Shaman, and Mist Shaman never saw play whatsoever. So I'm kind of leaning towards like it's not really going to get played.
I mean, it's probably not gonna see play, but Miss Shaman's big issue was that it was a 2-drop for Haven, right? And Haven had a lot of good amulets early game. They'd rather play instead of a Miss Shaman. This coming out on turn 3 is slightly better since it hits your 2-drop neutral.
I think it has a chance in some kind of mid-range deck. It's a decent body, 3/2, and it can protect, like, if you have a important minion or something, follower.
Yeah, I think the biggest knock against this card is that it doesn't protect itself, honestly. Like, if I had a 3/2 in play and a 2/2, like, that's the common turn 3 scenario, I wish my 3/2 was the one that got protected instead of the 2/2.
So basically, you wish it was like more like Shrine Knight Maiden, where it just like does your board.
Or
That'd
like
be
White
dope.
Tiger.
White Tiger.
White Tiger.
True.
Okay, so this card seems kind of fringe, but it might be useful. All right, so Night's Way is this also called Celestial River? These translations are kind of wonky. Night's Way, I'm assuming, is the amulet, the 3-cost. Countdown 1. At the end of your turn, draw a card. Fanfare, draw a card. Enhance 5, increase the countdown by 3. So if you play it normally, it should draw you 2 cards. And if you play it with the enhance, it should draw you 5? Is that
5, yeah.
5 cards. That's a lot of cards. What do you guys think about this one?
I really like this card. This card's going to see like quite a bit of play.
Yeah, I think it's really good in like the control decks. Like, just thinking of some decks we were playing last season, I definitely stick this in that neutral forest deck we were playing because it didn't have enough draw, pretty much. I think it would be go to any deck that needs draw that doesn't have much available naturally.
Like, for example, you could play this like in the place of like Darbon or something.
Whoa. Are we talking about this card over Direbond?
Okay, maybe, but you know what I mean. It has potential to be something good. I quite like it.
Yeah, 3 mana, 2 cards is a pretty common rate these days in card games. It's Divination or Arcane Intellect for Hearthstone players. I think it's pretty decent. How often do you think the Enhance will see you play?
Probably never, actually. Like, I don't think you would want to drop this on 5. Like, you'd probably have to drop this, like, late game for it to get, like, any value.
I mean, in Control Mirror, I could see dropping this on 5.
Oh, yeah, Control, for sure. Yeah, I can see this card seeing a little bit of play. I don't know about every deck. Like, the Dire Bond is stronger. I think some classes, like Haven, don't really need this card, but other classes don't have that much draw yet, so...
But, like, I feel like Haven's, like, 3 slot is a bit, like, wonky, so I feel like you could play this in that.
Oh, you're saying...
Instead of the other 2-mana amulet.
Uh-huh. I see. Okay. Alright, and last up, we've got Rampaging Mammoth. This one's an 8 PP 7/8, and when it evolves, it deals 2 damage to an enemy follower, and then does it again. Worth mentioning, this card gains only +1/+1 from evolve because it has that extra damage when it does evolve. 8 mana is a lot. Do you guys think it provides 8 mana worth of effects?
No.
Easy,
Like,
just slaps down the no.
Why would you play this over, like, Israfil or something?
It's take 2.
Does this even do anything in Take 2? I'm actually not even sure.
It's okay.
How often do you have evolve points on turn 8 in Take 2?
Okay. If you're going second, if you're going first, you'll never have it.
This is your token big neutral guy who does nothing and will never see play.
That's true.
Alright. There's really not that much to say about this one. It just won't see constructed play. Alright, so up next we've got some silver cards. Evelicia the Fallen. It's a 2 PP 2/1, and its fanfare is to deal 1 damage to the enemy leader. SM Orc.
Yeah, this card is going to be seeing a lot of play in, like, pretty much like most aggro decks, especially like neutral-based aggro decks.
Yeah, it's going to see play, and hopefully that means Angel of the Ward's going to see more play to snipe down this card.
So you mentioned Angel of the Ward. Do you think that Angel of the Ward will be prevalent enough to make this card a bad choice?
Probably not. It still pushes 1 damage, and they have to be running Angel of the Ward in the first place.
I'm personally more afraid of May, though, since Forest seems to be a more relevant class with this coming expansion.
Yeah, it dies to May, huh? Yeah, 2/1s for 2 are always in a weird spot. Because sometimes the ability is really worth it, but if it dies to a 1 damage ping, it's really embarrassing because you could have played a 2/2 instead.
Another thing you gotta think about too is, like, this card would be significantly better if Alice was not nerfed. Upcoming patch. Like, this card would have been, like, insanely good had she not been nerfed, but yeah, this card's probably still gonna see, like, quite a bit of play. Unless, like, the meta shifts towards it being, like, really bad.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So, next up we've got Gigas, not of the forest variety. This one's a 7 mana 7/5 with Clash until the end of the opponent's turn. This follower cannot receive more than 3 damage at a time. That is an ability that I've only really seen on Haven cards. Like Luxhorn Sarissa? How do you think this card measures up?
That and the Sword Commander.
Roland. Yeah, Roland.
Yeah. Uh-huh. Actually, I quite like this card. It probably won't see, like, a lot of play, but I think it has potential. I like it.
I just think you aren't doing enough for a 7 mana card. You're just dropping a vanilla. It's pretty much a vanilla 7/5 that can't be traded into, but still, I don't think it's good enough to play.
Yeah, all the usual removal totally works on this card. You can even use a 5 damage removal on it if it hasn't triggered the Clash yet, because that'll get around the ability. It has to actually get into combat in order to get that ability.
Oh, wait, it's Clash.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's pretty iffy if you don't have an evolve point, right?
Alright, I retract my statement. I thought it was just a passive effect.
No. I mean, even if it were, Luxhorn Sarissa sees 0 play and is, comes into play with a free attack often. I don't know. Yeah, I don't see this card ever seeing play. All right. Next, we've got Pure-Hearted Singer. This one's an interesting one. It's a 3PP 1/2, so the stats are pretty bad on this one, but it has Fanfare and Last Words draw a card. So this will often draw you 2 cards. What do y'all think of this one?
If aggro isn't rampant, I'm gonna love this card because it's so much free value.
I love it. I just love drawing cards. I feel like drawing cards is a very powerful effect. Mm-hmm. I value it pretty highly. So I naturally just really love this card, especially in like control decks.
I mean, yeah, it's 3 mana, draw 2 cards, and you get a body, so it's pretty good.
Yeah. Worth noting that this card loses a lot of power thanks to the Alice nerf. Because I think my first thought was I'm gonna put this in an Alice deck and the body's gonna be a 2/3. And I'm also gonna draw cards to buff with Alice, but now that Alice I think is basically a dead archetype, I'm less excited about that and just more excited about the drawing cards in general. Okay. How about Mystic Ring? It is a 1PP spell that banishes a card from your hand and effectively puts that card into your deck, and then you get to draw a card. This is an interesting one. What kind of applications do you think a card like this one would have?
Not screwing over your PTP deck.
Can you explain the situation?
So, for example, maybe you mill your PTP with like a Altered Fate or something, and then you can't mill like the other one, so you Mystic Ring it to get it out of your hand, and then like redraw. It's basically like a safety mechanism for that deck. But
yeah,
I can't think of like any other like applications at the moment. But I quite like this card. It's like one of my favorite cards.
I'd also run it in Daria because Daria doesn't care about hand size. You don't want to draw. You don't want to discard a Daria. So yeah, those 2 decks only. I can't really think of any others.
So another use would be an OTK Dragon to put away an Altered Fate if you ever draw 2.
Yeah.
This is pretty much like card disadvantage to make sure your game-winning combo doesn't get screwed over by your bad luck.
Yeah. So it seems like a combo card that kind of just helps you add a little bit of consistency. So like sometimes you get unlucky and draw the card that you didn't want to draw, but now you can put it back into your deck at the cost of a card.
But you're wasting a slot for that when you really think about it. It's a pretty weak card.
Yeah, it seems a little rough. Like you end up you banish a card from your hand and you have to play this card, so you end up down a card no matter how you look at it.
Well, it's not that you just have to play the card. The card has to be in your deck. You feel really bad for having this card.
Yeah, it's also that you get to run fewer like removal spells, for example, like to help you defend. Stuff like that. It'll sit useless in any other situation.
Does anyone know if this combos with the Ghost Town Sexton? Or that's only in play, right?
I would assume it's only in play. So yeah,
alright, never mind.
So like there's some fringe uses for this card, I'm gonna say, and it's not like particularly strong outside of those places. You agree with that?
Yeah.
Okay. The next card is Keeling. I don't know how to say that. Anyways, it is a 5PP05. I hope it has some really sweet text to go with that. And it seems to. So it has Ward. And at the end of your turn, it gets +2 attack. So before your opponent can do anything, it's already a 2/5. Whenever this follower attacks an enemy follower, deal X damage to the follower before it can deal any damage in return, where X equals this follower's attack. So basically, it gets to hit the enemy with its attack before any retaliation happens. It's a lot like Double Strike. It'll do its basic attack, but it'll also do an extra one before. Weird card that we haven't really seen before in Shadowverse. What do y'all think?
I think this card's going to see like quite a bit of play.
Yeah, I think it really wants to snipe something with 2 damage. So I think you generally want to go second and play this on your turn 5 because leaving up a 4/7 seems pretty good, but if it takes damage, it's probably gonna be like a 4/3, 4/4, and then there's probably better 5 mana cards to play.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the biggest issue with this card is that Alice doesn't buff its health by 1. When you have 7 life, that's pretty iffy compared to 8. 8 is insane. It's really hard to run over an 8 health card on 5.
It also has ward though, so it's a pretty tanky ball.
Mm-hmm. So these are all like turn 5 situations. Would you ever want to top deck this card in a protracted game?
Absolutely not.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to say no on
five,
that.
5 mana 2/5 seems pretty bad to me. So this card seems kind of dependent on its ability. Like, did you draw it on turn 5 and have that Evo point available, or did you draw it later and then it just kind of sits there
I mean,
useless?
you already feel bad playing this on 6, to be honest.
Yeah, maybe.
I mean, it's decent when you're both top decking. There's no board, but between that and turn 5, it's pretty bad. But at the very end of the game, I think it's decent.
Yeah.
Okay. Alright. How about Hellblindy? Like another... these are like words from foreign languages or whatever. I don't really know what to do with these. Anyways, it is a 5 PP 5/5. Doesn't really have any text beyond that, except that when you pay 7 mana, so enhance 7, it gains the ability deal 2 damage to 2 random enemies at the end of your turn. So you either get a 5 PP 5/5 or you get a 7 PP 5/5 that does basically it's a Youyo, but 2 damage.
I feel like there's a recurring theme in this set of like dealing 2 damage to 2, or like dealing 2 damage to a random enemy 2 times. But then again, like
Yeah.
like why would you ever play the other card when this card exists?
I have a question. Does this only happen the turn you play it? Or is it like a recurring effect?
It's at the end of your turn. Just
I
in
mean,
general,
like, is
I
this
think.
end of every turn? Is
It gains that ability, so I assume it would keep it for the rest of the
If
game.
it keeps it, I think it will be a pretty good card. Like, once you're out of Evo points and your opponent's playing some sort of follower-based deck, I think it would be it's insane.
Mm-hmm. Kurt?
Well, to be honest, I really like the idea of this card, but I'm not gonna play it.
Yeah, I can't think of any deck that would particularly want this right now.
I mean, it's 7, but you can't even alter the cost of it. It makes it even worse. So it's almost like terrible. And if you miss and you hit face, you feel sad.
Oh yeah, worth noting. It does say enemies, so it doesn't say enemy followers, which means it could hit face. I'm not sure if it's the usual Shadowverse, like it'll hit followers first and then face later. I don't actually know how this card works yet.
It's
But
probably going to hit random, I think, or else they'd say it like Chimera.
yeah, okay, so seems like you're kind of banking on some Knife Juggler RNG here. You're really hoping, like if they have a board, you really hope that you hit the board most of the time, right?
Yeah, I just generally just don't like this card. I don't think it's gonna see play.
Yeah.
If it does keep the effect, I'm definitely going to try this card out because it seems really strong to keep on board.
Yeah, definitely if you're enhancing it, your opponent has to answer or they're going to fall really far behind. Alright, so we'll see. Seems like we have mixed opinions on this one. Up next, we have Staircase to Paradise. This is an interesting card. It's a gold amulet with countdown, and it says... it has countdown 7. It says, whenever a friendly follower is destroyed, decrease the countdown of this amulet by 1. So kind of like the Haven Inquisition amulet, but except for your own followers. And last words, at the beginning of your next turn, add 3 followers from your deck to your hand. It's also got an enhance, so this card has a lot of text. Enhance 5, so pay 5 mana for this instead. Decrease the countdown of this amulet by 7. So in other words, it happens... it has no countdown, basically. You drop it, last words trigger at the beginning of your next turn, you get 3 followers from your deck to your hand. That's a lot of text. What do you guys make of it?
I love this card. It's gonna see a lot of play in Amulet Haven. for searching out your giant legendary guy and your almost all amulet deck.
Are we talking Aegis here?
I mean, like, I suppose you could, but I was talking about the new Haven legendary that pops amulets immediately.
So, so a new
So
one.
you could tutor that out, like turn 5.
Mm-hmm. How about you, Spray? What do you think?
I don't know. I'm just trying to compare it to the other 3 mana draw 2 cards, and I think there's times when this is better. Like, you play this turn 1, I think it's better, and if you can find a place for the enhance, I think it's better, but I'm just trying to think, like, is there a time where you can find to play the enhanced part, and if you don't draw it on turn 1, I don't think it's that good most of the time, compared to, like, the 3 mana draw 2s, so I'm not quite sure.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I feel like this is like something that you'd have to like build your deck around, like tutoring, and not something that you would just like throw in just to draw cards.
All right. I'm surprised I haven't heard from our resident Atomy expert yet.
Well, the issue I've come to when I'm looking at this card, it's really hard to actually put in any of your decks, right? Like, sure, in Antimeme, this is insane, but you draw it like the next turn, not like immediately. So it's not like you can do some crazy combos like Antimeme and Deseriduin. That's not happening. But it's still really nice. It's just it's not good enough.
Yeah.
It will be a strong card for sure. It will pop on turn 5 for most normal decks. Get 3 followers. It's okay.
Mm-hmm. I was really excited to put this into a neutral deck where I'm just playing followers, and all I really need to do is put more followers in my hand after my initial attack is stopped. But again, Alice nerfs. I think that deck's gonna be donezo. I don't really see a place for this apart from Atomy. I don't know. This card's iffy.
Then, I don't know. It only replaces like the other wonky 1-cost amulets. You will not play a 12 1-cost amulet Antimeme. It's just not gonna happen.
Right. Okay. That's it for our golds. Next we got the big legendaries. So first is Loki. I've heard a lot about this one. People are really excited to try this one out. It's an 8 PP 5/5. So that's pretty awful, but it's got some pretty crazy text. Fanfare, whenever you play a follower with Fanfare, Necromancy Enhance, or Earthright ability, not including targeted effects, activate that ability again. And this effect does not stack. What?
400 IQ card.
What are we doing with this card? Has anybody figured out some kind of sick combo?
I do have a question, like, for Necromancy and Earthright, does it take up... Do you need 2 of those to activate it? Like, do you need 40 Shadows for 2 Deathly Tyrant activations? And 2 Earthrights for 2, like, levies or something?
I do not know, but I would assume it does not.
I think it doesn't. The reason why they don't do targeted effects is because you would have to trigger it twice, while the other effects would just double stack, and so it makes it easier. And also because target effects would be way too strong, but you know.
Yeah, so, in case anybody was thinking of pairing this with Temptress Vampire, that does not work, because that's a targeted effect. I know some people have tried to do that already. So, is there anything crazy? Like, Deathly Tyrant sounds pretty good. You get 23/23 Storm, one-shot your opponent?
Yeah, you still need the Shadows, though. So it shouldn't be too hard if you build your deck around it.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, Mint doesn't work, because that's a Fanfare for some reason.
Interesting.
I mean, the issue with this card is just, why don't you just play multiple copies of your said card? It's like, do you really want 4 copies of said effect, right? It's just not worth it. It's on 8. Most of the effects you want to do might be lower, like Erebos. But then I'm like, wait, why would I ever do that? And you would never be able to play it because, like, Loki's 8. Just play Erebos on 6, right?
Yeah.
Like, the strongest effects in the game come out really early or really late. There's no in-between for this card. It's just, like, in the middle of the mana cost for, like, late game effects.
Okay, so just a question. Can you make a really strong Earthright Golem guy? What was that 6 mana legendary from Rune?
Oh, hulking
Yeah, hulking
Hulking
giant.
hulking giant. Yeah,
Can we make a really big one of those with with Queen?
I assume it will not work because you'll discard all of your Earth sigils, and then it'll get the buff, and then you'll do it again. It'll look in your hand and see no Earth sigils.
Oh, that's disappointing.
I think
like
I
if
think
Hero
it will
Two
work like
will
that.
feel really sad.
Yeah, I mean, we'll have to test these interactions because I don't
Yeah.
think they're 100% clear yet. But
This is a weird one that's definitely going to need testing for it to see
Yeah.
like any sort of play, really.
Yeah, I feel like you need a game-winning combo, or else you're playing 8 mana 5/5, and that's just so bad.
all right,
I mean, it's 8
so
mana 5/5 boost the game.
yeah, yeah. So I think what we're getting at here is that the 8 PP cost is really hurting this card.
Pretty much.
All right. How about the next one? The next one's a little bit cheaper. It's Zodiac Demon, 7 PP, 5/5. So we're getting a slightly more efficient body right here. And the effect is pretty exciting too. So it says, Fanfare, put a follower that originally cost 7 PP or less from your hand into play and destroy it. It'll deal X damage to a random enemy follower, but if there are no followers in play, it'll do X damage to the leader instead. And this X is equal to the attack of the destroyed allied follower. So you could throw a 3/3 into play, it'll destroy it, and then it'll do 3 damage to something on the board. If nothing's on the board, it'll do 3 damage to face. Something like that. What do you guys think of this one?
Neutral support cannon.
Neutral support cannon.
I can't wait to try this card out. There's several legends that activate upon last words, and this is probably a way to get their super strong effects out without them being banished, or just getting it out faster if they're in a position to ignore the sweet legend you just dropped. I think this card's really good that way.
Yeah, and if you throw your legendary, you also get to kill something. So 7 PP, 5/5, kill something, and then get the last word effect.
I mean, if this is the top of my curve, this is a great card. If this is like in the middle of my curve and I go all the way to 10, this card sucks. Like, I would not play this card.
Yeah, remember that you can't throw a card that costs more than 7 PP. So no Aegis throwing. That would be cheap.
Why would you want to throw Aegis?
Because Aegis can't be destroyed.
But what if you can't even click Aegis?
Okay. Any sweet combos that exist right now? I think throwing Kali would be pretty good, right?
Dark Alice is fun.
Kali,
Ooh, Dark
Dark
Alice.
Alice.
I could see this being played in like some sort of like control shadow like list.
Okay.
But I'm pretty excited to try it out overall.
Yeah. Right now, last words that are really strong aren't too common outside of Shadow, so not really sure about other classes yet, but we might see some new ones that I want to throw with my Zodiac Demons.
Definitely. There's some new legends coming up in this set. I'm very excited to throw with this demon.
Alright, so that was the last neutral card. What do you guys think of the neutral cards that we got this time? They seem a little bit weaker than the ones we got last time.
I think they're all interesting and have their own place, but I'm not sure if like a lot of them are going to see play or not.
A lot of them seem insane without it, so thank God Alice got nerfed.
Right, yeah. And I think it's worth noting that none of these are so ridiculously powerful that we all just immediately said, I'm putting this in my deck.
I mean, they're all really fair cards, and that's sort of what neutral was meant to be, for the most part.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's part of their whole design philosophy shift, where they're not going to print nearly as many busted cards just to push new archetypes. But
at least we haven't seen like a neutral card where we're like, this is a dragon legendary.
yeah, we haven't seen any Queen of the Dread Seas, just like Mr. Jay-Z theory crafted on the ManaSurge card review yet. Okay. Alright. So we good on the neutrals? Anything that anybody wanted to say before we move on to the next class?
Not really. I think
Alright,
we're
sounds
pretty
like we're
done
good.
with neutrals.
Okay. How about Blood then? So up first we've got Venomous Bite, which is a 3 PP spell It deals 4 damage to an enemy follower and then adds a serpent. And this serpent is a 1 PP 1/1. It puts that into your hand.
I just think Blood has a lot of removal in 2 PP and 3 PP. I think there's better ones than getting a Serpent.
Mm-hmm. Anybody else?
I mean, as a person who fights a lot of blood and literally nothing but blood, right? I look at this card and it's mainly there's so many times where you wish you could have Night Horded on 3, or your Night Horde on 4 doesn't do any face damage because you don't have a Vania. So this card is actually pretty strong. It kills something, you get a token. It's fine. It's not really impressive, no, but it's a removal card, and depending on how the meta is, you might want a 1/1.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, these 1/1 snakes are going to be a little bit more relevant. We're going to see some snake synergies up next. Anybody else have anything to add?
Not really.
Okay, yeah, not terribly interesting card here, right? Just a slightly bigger Sylvan Justice. We've seen this card before. Scorpius. This is a 2 PP 1/2 with Bane and Clash deal 1 damage to your leader. Clash as a drawback. What do you all think of this one?
I think it's probably not going to see play because we already have a 2 PP Bane card. This one's slightly better because it's 1/2 instead of 2/1 compared to the Shadow card, but I still don't think it's high impact enough to see play.
Yeah, Blood's 2 slot is so jammed packed. I don't think you're ever going to find room for this.
How would you feel about this card if you pulled it out of a Dark Air Jammer?
It'd feel pretty bad, honestly.
Yeah. Doesn't seem as good as the other 2 drops, like 2/1 Storm or 1/3 ping your opponent a million times until they give up.
I'd feel much better pulling this from the Legendary than I would an Air Jammer.
Okay.
That's a really bad feeling, though. If I saw this from the Legendary, I'd cry.
It's probably the worst pull out of all.
Yeah, this one might... Yeah, so we're gonna see a Rune Legendary that randomly gives you cards later, and this is one of the cards. I think this one might be the worst out of all of them. Alright.
If this was a Haven card, I'd love it. It's just a blood card.
Yeah, if this were a Haven card, I'd be making a Snow White comparison, maybe.
Right?
Kill something, right? Yeah. But in Blood's got fantastic 2 drops. I don't think this one's good enough. Alright. Up next, we got Gunlord. That is a 7 PP 4/7 with Clash gain +3/+0. That's permanent, by the way. If you are not in Vengeance, deal 2 damage to your leader.
Yeah, it's pretty garbage.
Is this lady just really tall?
I believe that's what it is.
I can dig it.
It's a giant.
Now we know.
Now we know preferences.
Okay. Yeah, it costs 7 PP, and you're not really cheating or anything by getting a 7/7, because that's what it'll be after the first hit. I don't really see this card ever seeing play.
Seems okay, but I wouldn't play it.
Yeah. Okay. Next we've got Fanged Serpent. This is a 3 PP 3/2 ward with last words restore 2 defense to your leader.
It's not a bad card. I just don't think any deck really wants a 3 mana 3/2 ward that heals, which is kind of weird. It's good, but I just don't think any deck wants that sort of stuff.
I like it.
Mm-hmm. How do you think it measures up against Vite, the other 3 PP 3/2 ward in Blood?
I think Vite's just better. Like, making more bodies on board is better than the heal on turn 2. Like, almost always.
Mm-hmm.
Turn 3, I mean.
Vite has spell taunt, right? You want to shoot Vite with a spell, and that's great.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
This card, it's like it restores 0 health to your leader basically, because it's turn 3. And later on, yeah, this card is sometimes better than Vite, but it's so situational. I like this card.
Yeah. Seems like we're pretty low on this one. Alright, how about this one though? So we're moving on to silver, so we're gonna see a little bit better cards. So we got Fenrir. This is a 6 PP 4/6, which is a passable stat line, and then it has Rush. And on your turn, whenever this follower attacks and kills another follower without dying, deal 2 damage to a random enemy follower. So, common case is it's going to rush in, kill something, and as long as it lives, it does 2 damage to a random enemy follower. What do you think of this one?
I think it's a decently powerful turn 6 play. Like, the other turn 6 plays are available in Blood are like Carabos, Phantom Cat, stuff like that. And I don't know if like the decks you want to play those things. I mean, Phantom Cat is probably better at turn 6 if you're looking for value. But for like anti-aggro, I think this card's better on turn 6.
Mm-hmm. I love that it has Rush on its own and it doesn't demand an evolve point from you. Saving evolve points. Pretty much anytime you can save an evolve point in Shadowverse, it's a really powerful effect. Anybody else have something to add?
I mean, this card isn't like on the fair stat line. This is like a value stat line. I approve of this card, and I will play it.
Yeah, I like this card. It's gonna see some play.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like
Okay.
the 6 slot in Blood is a bit weird. Like, there's not like a whole lot going on there. So I feel like this will fit in pretty nicely, honestly.
Yeah, I'm gonna jam this card in as many Blood decks as I can.
All right. Seems like we like this one a lot. Okay. Next we've got Uriel? These words. Okay. Anyways, it's a 4 PP 2/3 with Bane and Ward, which is a combination we've seen be pretty effective. It's got Fanfare. Give a friendly blood follower can't be targeted by enemy spells or effects. Huh.
I love it.
I think it's great if you're going 1, 2, 3, like playing like aggro blood or something. Maybe not aggro blood. I don't know if it's aggro enough, but it's really good. Puts up a ward that will kill whatever they try to evo into if you're going first, and protects all your minions from their spells.
Okay.
I mean, I'll play this card, but every time I play this card, I'm gonna cry and remember BKB.
Yeah, BKB left a bit of a hole in our forward drop for Bud players.
Yeah, this might take the hole. Either that or her sister's going to take the 4 PP cost hole.
Yeah. Alright. Yeah, looks like we have something to look forward to in the Blood 4 drop spot. But we're not moving on to that just yet. We're going on to Demonic Ram. So this is a 2 PP 2/2. And it's got a weird fanfare that says, whenever your leader takes 2 damage during your turn, restore 2 defense to your leader. This effect lasts as long as the follower is in play. What do you make of this one?
This is another restored 0 effect, basically.
Okay.
Blood trap.
Does this happen before or after you take damage?
Probably after.
Yeah, it should be after.
Okay, I don't like this card then.
I think it's a good card. The problem is, Blood is better 2-drops. Blood is just too many good 2-drops to play this.
Yeah. I don't think this replaces any of our already amazing 2-drops. Okay.
I mean, here's a joke. If you play a Loki, you will restore 4 defense every time you hurt yourself.
Oh, baby.
That seems like garbage. Okay.
Terrible.
Yeah. Alright. How about this one then? Snarling Chains. This is a 2 PP spell. First it deals 1 damage to both leaders, then it does 3 damage to an enemy follower. So this is Blood's other 2 PP 3 damage spell, but a little bit more aggressive with both leaders taking 1 damage. What do you think of this one?
I love it. It's going to see like a lot of play in aggro Blood.
Yeah, and it also comes with the new legend that it deals damage to yourself. It's also pretty meta depending on how often you see, like, if you see a lot of zombies and stuff, you're probably still going to want Hungry Horde.
I mean, we haven't gotten to Mars yet, but when you have a card that can kill Mars, always use this card. It's great.
Yeah, the sword's getting a new card that's gonna make 3 damage a lot more relevant. Okay, so this card seems okay, but we're not entirely sure it'll see play over Hungering Horde yet. Is that what we came up with?
Well, I think I'll see play in aggro, and
Yeah,
this is
that's
definitely
not
not
bad.
going to
Hmm.
replace Hungering Horde.
Okay. All right. Up next we've got Stheno. Stheno is our first gold card from Blood. It says, first of all, its stat line is a 7 PP 36, so it better do something beyond that. Whenever a friendly poison snake comes into play, deal 2 damage to a random enemy follower. So every time you get a snake, you get to shoot something for 2. And Fanfare summon 2 poison snakes.
I don't particularly like it compared to Blood's other 7-drops. You have Emeralda, you have the Warlord, you have Alucard, so many other 7-drops I feel like that do more when you play them instead of deal 2 to followers.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm not liking this whole like deal 2 damage to like 2 random followers or enemy thing.
Yeah, there's some chance that that ability could just completely fail to kill anything and leave you with basically no ability, right?
Yeah, I feel like it's too high of a cost for like something that's just like a chance that it'll hit what you need it to.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this card has spread bodies. You always like spread bodies. 1/1 tokens are always great. Well, not always great, but it's relatively decent. The only issue with this card is this card's a token, basically. And so if you're putting it in your deck, you're asking yourself, why am I putting a token in my deck?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But we're not there yet. But that's my
Yeah, we're gonna see what she's talking about in just a moment. So that let's see. We appear to be missing a card. Okay, so the card that she's talking about here is Trial of the Gorgons. It is a 3 PP spell that summons 2 serpents. So these serpents that Stheno synergizes with, you get 2 of those put into play, and then randomly put one of the following cards into your hand. And these cards are Venom Fang Medusa, so that's the legendary that we're going to get into soon. Uriel, the 4 PP 2/3 Bane, and Stheno, the card we just talked about. So 3 PP, you get a pair of 1/1s, and you get one of those cards put into your hand. What do you think of this one?
I think it's going to get played in a lot of Blood decks. It's just 1 mana more than the 2 Vampire Bats, and you draw a good card. Like, these 3 cards are all pretty good to draw. Like, they're not horrible, and it's just 1 PP to draw them.
Mm-hmm. Anybody else?
I love it.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure like how the snake deck's gonna work out, because there's like a lot of that snake synergy that's going on with those cards.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not entirely convinced yet, but I like this card specifically.
I don't think you need to play in the Snake there. I think the card's as good enough to go in almost any value Blood deck. Like, you're only paying 1 mana to get one of these cards for free. It's pretty good in my opinion.
Oh wait, it doesn't pull it from your deck? It just puts one into your hand in
it
general?
just puts one into your hand.
Okay, I retract what I said. This card's awesome. Love it.
I love that we're getting a 3-for-1. Right, we get 2 cards on the board, and we get a card in our hand.
I mean, whenever Bloodcraft gets a card that's not a Bloodcraft follower, you're happy because Baphomet will not pull your card, and so this card is going to be in your control deck.
Yeah, that's a good point. Actually, helps keep our Baphomet pulls good. All right, seems like we like this card a lot. Up next, we've got the last gold blood card. So this one is called Venomous Demon. It is a 5 PP 4/4, and it says at the end of your turn, if you are not in Vengeance, deal 1 damage to both leaders. If you are in Vengeance, deal 1 damage to all enemies. So Ambling Wraith if you're not in Vengeance, but that's every turn. If you are in Vengeance, Angelic Barrage every turn. Weird card. What do you make of this?
It's a strong effect, but I don't know if it's strong as like a single effect. Because I tested around with cards that did the same thing, and it's really good when you stack multiples. But I think just as a one of, it's not strong enough to run.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this is the continuous effect, but the continuous effect is so weak. You would have preferred like a fanfare that did a lot in one turn. So this card is pretty weak.
Yeah, it's probably not going to live for more than 1 or 2 turns.
Yeah, I imagine on turn 5, if you play a card like this, it's just gonna die. You're gonna get the ability off once. But maybe it lives a little bit longer late game, and you can get some value out of it. I'm not terribly excited to put this card in any deck. I think you have to be in Vengeance to even want the ability. And it doesn't really do a good job of getting you into Vengeance either. Because it's only, like, Bloodfed, this card basically is Bloodfed, Flowerfed, and that card, like, the only reason why it saw play was because you couldn't take it off the board easily. This card will do 1 damage to you, and you can already pay 1 mana for that effect. It's called Ambling Wraith.
Yeah, I really don't like this card. And I don't think it's going to see play.
Yeah, and like the deck you'd most likely put it in, Vengeance, already has really good 5-drops.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. So up next, we've got the 2 Blood Legendaries. The first one is Venom Fang Medusa. So this is one of the cards that you can get off of your Trial of the Gorgons. This one might be the best one, too. This is a 4 PP 3/3. So those stats are not great, but we're going to get Fanfare, Summon a Poison Snake. So you get a 1/1. And it's also got the ability, at the start of your turn, if you have 2 Poison Snakes, they summon a Medusiana. And we're going to get into that card afterwards. But Medusa herself has an Evolve effect, summon another Poison Snake. So Medusa by herself, if you evolve her, will make the 2 Poison Snakes required to make this Medusiana card. So without looking at this Medusiana card, we'll just assume that it's great. What do you make of this card?
It's like Floral Fencer for Blood. I love it.
Yeah, Blood doesn't have any really good 4-drops outside of like Belfagor, so I think it'll be good.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I basically cheated and put my mic really close to my face, so maybe it's slightly louder, or maybe it's not. I don't really know. But yeah, this Medusa card is alright. I like the original Medusa. It's one of my favorite cards. And now this one came out, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna play this in like aggro blood. This is not really gonna be a snake deck in my opinion. But yeah, Medusa is great. Best 4-drop.
Mm-hmm. This card, it's not too embarrassing going first, which is one of the worst things about most 4-drops. And then if you evolve it, you basically get Floral Fencer. I think this card's great. So anyways, I mentioned it earlier. If you have 2 snakes at the start of your turn, which is, I'm going to imagine, not going to happen too often, what Medusa will give you is she'll turn those 2 snakes into a Medusiana. And that Medusiana is a 1/7 with Rush and Bane, and it can attack 3 times per turn. Worth mentioning, it gets full stats on Evolve. So on Evolve, it becomes a 3/9 that can attack 3 times. How close to winning the game on the spot is that?
Pretty good, but it's never gonna happen. That's like the dream right there. Is getting this play.
It'll have to be super late game. No one has evolves. People are down the last 2 or 3 cards. That's the only time the effect's gonna go off.
Mm-hmm.
But when you have a card that, if the effect goes off, you win the game, that's a pretty good strong card. Like, a lot of times they print out cards with these wonky effects with, conditions to be met, and the condition doesn't win the game. This condition utterly destroys people.
Yeah, I imagine you're not going to live very long after this thing kills 3 followers or hits your face 3 times.
I mean, I think like late game, if you they're running out cards, you rev the board, you play this, you play a Serpent, there's a good chance it can go off.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it could happen. And when it does happen, your opponent's going to be scared, I think. Alright, that doesn't add too much to the card, though. I think Medusa by herself is already a decent card, and then this is just like, sometimes you win the game. All right. So our last blood legendary. This one's called Jormungand. It's a 6 PP 5/5, and it has last words. Your leader gains whenever your leader takes damage on your turn, deal 1 damage to all enemies. So anytime you do one of those self-damaging effects, you're gonna get an angelic barrage.
I think this card's amazing. Like, this is one of the cards I want to build a deck around. You just drop all those cheap cards that do stuff and do damage to yourself and just completely wipe their board every turn.
Mm-hmm. Anybody else?
I mean, first of all, the casting thing. Everyone's gonna pronounce this card wrong, right? It's Jormungand,
Jormungand. Okay, my bad.
or it might be pronounced a little bit differently, but that's kind of the way it's supposed to be pronounced. I can't use tenses. Shoot. But this card is great. It makes all your cards better. The only issue is on turn 6, is that too late for you to like win the game with? Because you could just implanter someone's face, or you can play Carabos, even as much as I hate Carabos. So yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, seems like this card kind of competes with Carabos for that 6 drop. Which one do you think wins out, Sunfire?
Jormungand. I love this card.
All right. Okay.
You can throw it with Zodiac Demon too, and the effect stacks, which makes it even better.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I can't imagine winning many games after your opponent gets 2 of these effects going. Because every time they play like a Razory Claw, everything on your side takes 2 on top of the Razory Claw damage. Alright, seems like we think this card's pretty good. Any comments on the overall Blood cards this expansion?
They look really fun.
Yeah, this looks pretty fun, right? We're getting a new tribal synergy, the serpents instead of bats. I think they decided they had enough bat cards. And we're getting... Yeah?
I was just going to say, the reason why this is really fun is because this is one expansion where we don't get blood hate, right? There's very few blood hate cards, and I love it.
Yeah, I feel like this like blood set is a lot more fleshed out than some of the other ones in expansions past, and I really like the direction that they're going.
Okay, cool. Yeah, it looks like we got some pretty good ones. Nothing as ridiculous as last expansion. Thank goodness. But yeah, some of these cards are bound to see some play. All right, up next we've got Dragon. And last expansion did not treat Dragon well, so let's see what they got this time.
Don't have too high hopes.
Yeah, okay. So first we've got Scaled Berserker. This is a 6 PP 4/5 with Bane. And that's it. That's all it does.
6 PP 4/5 Bane. It's might as well be a 6 PP 4/5 bad card.
Mm-hmm.
This is your token LOL dragon card. Each expansion is required to have at least one of these.
This better have really nice evolve art, and so it might take 2. I won't feel bad for playing it.
Spoilers, it doesn't. It's pretty bad.
I don't really know what to make of the art.
It's pretty cool art.
Alright, but constructed just no, right?
No,
not even close.
Okay. Alright, well that's sad. Up next we've got Estrela Beast. This one is a 3 PP 2/3 that cannot be targeted by enemy spells and effects. We finally got one. A 2/3 that can't be targeted. I think this is the first one, right?
Yeah.
Right.
I love it.
What do you think?
It's going to see some play.
Sunfire loves it. Anybody else?
I would like it if it wasn't in Dragon.
Yep. Sounds about right. I would not imagine that Ramp Dragon decks would ever want to play this card.
Well, I mean, I play Aggro Dragon, so naturally.
Okay.
I love this card.
Aggro Dragon might like it, probably. I don't know. I don't play Aggro Dragon. I don't even know what 3-drops you run.
Yeah. Tell me how this compares to current Aggro Dragon 3-drops right now.
I feel like the 3-drop slot in Aggro Dragon is kind of meh.
Mm-hmm.
Like you
So
pretty much
it's- yeah.
just run like whatever, really. Like there's no like
Okay.
really really good options.
And you're saying that this would be an upgrade over these?
I think so. I'd run it.
Cool. Yeah. Anything else?
Goodbye, Trinity Dragon. That's all I gotta say.
Yeah, I never liked Tree Dragon myself. I think this card's solid in like an aggressive dragon deck. Like 3 mana 2/3 can't be targeted is actually super obnoxious because it's guaranteed to eat their 2/1 or their 2/2, and then they kind of had to just hit it again with an actual follower in order to get rid of it.
It would be so insane if it wasn't dragon.
Yeah, I think this card would be disgusting outside of dragon. But hey, aggro dragon, we could see it yet. All right. After that, we've got Dragon's Foresight, which is a 2 PP spell. It adds a random follower from your deck to your hand. So that's any follower, not just dragon followers. And it's got Enhance 4, then add a follower with 5 or more defense from your deck to your hand.
I like this a lot more than the other tutor.
Really, I'd rather play Dragon Emissary. Because it's cheaper. When you tutor something what you want, it's cheaper and it reduces the cost.
Any thoughts on whether or not we're going to make use of this enhance ability then?
I don't think the enhance is ever gonna be used.
Mm,
I mean, you
Yeah.
could try, right? But then, like, why aren't we just playing like the other troll cards that we saw in neutral?
I mean-
would be slightly better.
I'm sure someone's going to build a deck that like requires this to like tutor, but yeah, the enhance effect probably isn't ever going to be played.
Someone might just play this and then Oracle right after, and you feel really sad.
well, you can Oracle first and then this, but yeah.
Oh, sorry, I messed up the order. Yeah, Oracle into this on turn 3. It would be very interesting, but then they didn't play anything, and you're like, nice round.
Yeah, I don't know. I think since it's basically draw 2 cards on the enhance 4, I feel like we can do better because there's a neutral card that costs 3 and draws 2 cards as well. I don't know. I don't think this one's seeing play.
Like,
I mean,
I
there's one
I don't think the get five defense card is really gonna matter. Like, you run so many of them anyways.
Yeah, it's like Sybil, Bahamut, Zeus. Like all of these cards can be pulled. It's basically just draw 1 at that point.
Yeah, basically.
Mm-hmm. Okay. After that, we've got Dragon Rearer Mathilde, which is a 2 PP 1/1, so that's not good. But it's got Fanfare, add a Fire Lizard to your hand, and Fire Lizard is a 2 PP 2/1 that does 1 damage when it enters play.
More aggro dragon cards. Love it.
I'll defer to you on this.
Yeah, I mean, Fire Lizard's a pretty good card, and you get a 1/1 on top of that. I think the biggest problem is that we're paying a total of 4 mana for all of this.
I think the problem is that this isn't a 1/2.
Yeah,
It's
this-
Yeah,
have
that's-
a 1/2 that pulls
makes
a
me sad.
commander? Why isn't this a 1/2 that gives you a Fire Lizard in your hand?
Because Fire Lizard too strong.
Yeah, it's scary that this card will get eaten by a 1/2. And then you'll let the Fire Lizard the 1/2 away, but it's still pretty sad that you had to Fire Lizard a 1-drop. I don't know, this card's a little iffy, I think.
I think it's like too slow for aggro dragon.
Yeah, you're playing a 1-power attacker on turn 2. I don't know. Alright, if we haven't got anything more to say on that, let's move on to the silver. First up, we've got Cetus. This is a 9 PP 6/7. That's a lot of PP for a 6/7. And the fanfare says, randomly destroy one of the opponent's lowest cost followers.
Pretty much a bad orb dragon.
Yeah, Orb Dragon is 9 PP 6/5, and you get to choose. You can also destroy amulets. I don't know about this card. I mean, worth noting, if your opponent plays Bahamut and you play this afterwards, it will kill their Bahamut.
Yeah.
Just play Orb Dragon.
Yeah, Orb Dragon would do the same thing, yes.
In
Yeah,
Arena, this is annoying, but it costs too much.
Yeah.
I don't like it.
Seems pretty bad. Okay, well, how about the next one? This one's Canyon of the Dragons. And it is a 7 PP amulet with countdown 3. At the end of your turn, summon a dragon.
Oh god, why?
So slow.
Yeah, this card seems pretty slow. You're getting the dragon at the end of your turn. Then you have to wait a full turn cycle before you can do anything with it. Kind of like Ledger, you're not gonna get a chance to evolve it and defend yourself.
It's like Polyphonic Roar, but worse.
I mean, this card costs 2 less. I think that's worth mentioning.
You
Like,
could
you can
say that this card is, like, quote-unquote better than Ledger, because you don't have to build your deck around it, and you can ramp into it, but still, this card is awful. Like, Tempo Dragon is not really a thing. If it was, like, I don't know. I don't know if I'd put this in there. It's a fun card, though. And in Arena, I will hate this card.
Yeah, this seems pretty ridiculous in Arena. You get 15/15 of stats for 7 PP.
Yeah, it's probably good, like, in a vacuum. It's actually does sound pretty good in a vacuum, but when you need to take board as Dragon, it's so bad. And then by the time you take the board, you can play Polyphonic Roar.
Okay.
I mean, technically, like, you could play Polyphonic Roar with this on the board. So bad.
Yeah, you can play this on 7 PP and then ramp into Polyphonic.
It protects you,
Meh.
but no, this card is just interesting.
I mean, yeah, it also exposes the 5/5 so they can, like, kill it before it even does anything.
Yeah. Okay. So this card, no go.
No go.
No.
Let's put it simply, there's a 4-cost amulet that transforms into a dragon if your opponent has more followers than you. That card is sometimes better than this card.
Ouch. Okay,
Wow.
okay, we're done here. Alright. We got Beowulf up next. I read about Beowulf in high school. He didn't look like this. Anyways, we got a 3 PP 2/3. It's got no text, but otherwise, if you pay 6, so enhance 6, destroy an enemy follower with 5 or more defense.
I love it.
I think it's pretty decent. Like, for some reason, if they be Grimnir, you don't want Grimnir because they're selling Dragon Mirrors or something, you could play this instead.
I think this is a little bit better than Scyther, in my own personal opinion.
Ooh, better than Scyther. Okay.
Better than Scyther is a hard one. It's better than Date, right? And Date used to see play for a little bit, and then he got completely wiped out because there was no point of playing a 2-drop in Dragon. Now, in a world where you think you want to play a 3-drop, this is better than Date.
I like it.
I don't know. If there's a lot of Dragon Mirrors, I'll play more of these.
Yeah, it'll kill Bahamut. That is worth noting. And 3 PP 2/3 is like an acceptable stat line these days. Alright. How about Beast Rider? That is...
Oh, I just want to point out this this little creature, this lady's writing is literally my spirit animal. I love this.
Oh, okay.
Dude, look at it. It's so awesome.
Alright. So this is a 5 PP 2/6 with Rush. During your turn, after this follower attacks an enemy, double the follower's attack. So, basically, on the first turn, 2 to 4, and then 4 to 8, etc. It's got an interesting evolve. So when it evolves, it doesn't gain any stats. It's still a 2/6, but it has Storm. I have not seen a card like this before. What do you guys think?
So it's basically like a budget.
I think Dragon is better face cards.
Yeah.
Budget
Yeah.
Hippogriff Rider.
If only this card actually got stats from evolving, then I might play it, but it doesn't get any stats from evolving.
Yeah, spending an evo point and having your card still be a 2/6 is pretty embarrassing.
I think they learned from Felice, and that's why this thing doesn't get any stats.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. It's like a budget Felice, but doesn't do anything better than what Dragon already has.
Yeah.
I love the art
This
though.
Yeah, this one seems pretty weak. Okay, after that, we have the golds. So our first gold is Draconic Singer, which is a 5 PP 4/4, and its fanfare is to decrease the cost of a Dragoncraft card in your hand by 1. What do y'all think of this one?
First problem is that it's dragon cards. When you want to stuff you want to decrease, it's like Bahamut, Israfil, Lucifer. Those aren't dragon cards.
I feel like the 5 slot, you can't really play anything in like this specific deck that wants to play this.
Yeah, Ramp Dragon's 5 drops are pretty full. Got Sybil and Fervor already.
I mean, this isn't really a 5-drop, this is a 4-drop, quote-unquote, because you want an Oracle and you're Skeletal. But the issue with this card is actually that everything that you subtract 1 for, you actually don't find it very impressive, right? You can subtract 1 from the 7-cost amulet we just saw, and that still might not be good enough for the amulet. You can subtract 1 from Conflag and then kill this yourself, and that's still pretty bad. It's just, no. There's Wyvern Cavalier, and that's much more flexible. So I'd rather play Wyvern Cavalier. For memes, this card is great, but without memes, this card is bad.
I like your 5
Right.
mana kill yourself idea. That sums up this card pretty nicely.
Yeah, you get to play your Conflag next turn, and nice 4/4. Okay. Anyways, after that one, we've got Avowed Strike. This is a pretty new one. This is a 3 PP spell. It deals damage to an enemy follower equal to the number of Dragoncraft cards in your hand. Enhance 7? First you draw 2 cards, then you deal twice the damage to the follower. So you count all the cards in your hand, multiply that by 2, and then do that much damage. And they have to be Dragoncraft cards. Neutrals don't count.
I'm just afraid sometimes you won't have Dragoncraft cards.
Yeah.
The Teji special where you have 3 Bahamuts in your hand.
I mean, it's pretty flexible. I'm just really afraid that you won't have Dragoncraft cards.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm not feeling it.
Part of this card is it doesn't count itself.
Yeah, if it counted itself, it'd be a lot more reliable. But on turn 3, how much damage do you see this card doing? Like 2 or 3, maybe?
Yeah, if
I
you're
could
lucky.
play this, maybe 4.
I think the enhance is actually a lot better than the base spell that we're getting here, because first you get to draw 2. But we're gonna get into some really uncomfortable situations where you have to draw a Dragoncraft card to kill your target, and then you don't, and you're gonna be tilted. This is like Phantom Cat, except like worse, because instead of like not winning the game, you just lose the game on the spot when that happens.
7 and you draw 2 Avowed Strikes and you feel even more better.
Oh yeah, if you draw more Avowed Strikes, it'll do. Yeah, if you draw 2 Avowed Strikes, it'll do 4 more damage, and then you draw even more cards. That'll be pretty great.
Yeah, I think it's good. It's just the RNG might stop this card from getting played.
I think another problem with this card is if we're paying 7 mana for removal, why aren't we just playing Breath of the Salamander instead? I feel like that card just does so much more work. Like
Or
you're
Conflag.
often, or Conflag. Like you're often in situations in Dragon where you need to AoE, and this card doesn't do that.
I mean, the previous card can't even reduce the cost of this card, come on.
Yeah, cost reduction and enhance is a no-go. I don't know. I think this card has potential, but I'm not gonna be putting a whole bunch of these in Dragon decks anytime soon. Alright, so that's that. But after that, we have Star Phoenix. This one's another unusual design. So this is a 3 PP 2/2 rush, and it has last words. When your leader next plays a spell, add a Star Phoenix to your hand. So every time you play a spell, the Phoenix rises from the ashes, and you can play it again. Weird card. So kind of like infinite 3PP 2/2s as long as you have spells. What do you guys think of that?
I love it, but what spells are you gonna play to trigger this effect in Dragon?
Whoa. Dragon has a lot of spells, like Blazing Breath.
I know,
Breath
but
of
like the
Song.
deck that wants to play this, like how many spells are you gonna be playing?
It's
'Cause you-
31, I think. No, not 31. 24. There's 31 or 24. I don't remember. But this card is really strong.
I mean, but would you play this in like Ram Dragon? I feel like this is like more of like an aggro or like
definitely
mid-range
not,
card.
No.
Oh, are we
And-
talking
I played
What
this
the
in
hell?
OTK.
OTK? Oh,
Oh, actually, you know what? I didn't think about that.
Yeah, I played this with OTK, and I also put the 2 cost, draw a follower with this card. You also play with the 1 cost ring as well, because then you don't want to have, your double alter fate combos. And so this comes back when you play that, and you get another card in your hand. So this card is really strong.
Oh man, this next level strategy.
Yeah, you probably want to play with a bunch of cheap spells, which means not Ram Dragon.
I mean, Ram Dragon is full of cheap spells. Salamander's cheap. Blazing Breath's cheap. Oracle is cheap.
Yeah, but they're only cheap in the first few turns, like Salamander.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, I can definitely see this card in OTK though. That seems pretty impressive. Like, not only is it like some kind of removal, it pairs like it helps you do that without losing cards from your hand. Like every time you play a spell, you get a card back into your hand. That seems pretty good to me.
Yep.
Okay, cool. So should see play an OTK Dragon? Probably not anywhere else. Yeah.
Basically, yeah.
Yeah, I like
Okay.
it.
We'll see play in Rune, though.
Yeah, cool card. Yeah. This is another one that you can pull with the new Rune Legendary, and I think this is one of the pretty good ones.
Oh, wait, you can pull this?
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Dude, this card's awesome
Okay.
then.
yeah, in Rune.
But it's
Yeah, we
it's like a
can't
1
really
in
do it for
6
Dragoncraft like that.
chance, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
1/6.
Yeah, I know. Okay. So that's it for the golds. We did a little bit better this time than last time, right? Last time we had some embarrassing dragon cards.
Last time,
Yeah.
you mean like
Elder
TOTG?
Turtle?
I remember TOTG.
Wait, let's not.
Fortress Crab.
Wonderland Dreams doesn't exist for dragon. Okay, so now we've got our legendaries, and these are pretty weird ones. So our first one is Python. So this is a 10 PP, so that's all of your PP. It's got 8/9 in stats, which is, not that bad for 10 PP, I guess. It says banish all cards in your deck that cost 7 PP or less. Wow. So this gets rid of all your bad cards, basically, and some of your good cards, because that's your removal. But what potential do we have with this card?
So it's basically the Satan of Dragon.
I think you might want one for the Dragon Mirror, but that's about it.
I mean,
So-
everyone's gonna say this card is terrible, right? And like Sunfire said, this is the Satan of Dragoncraft, but it's more like it's the card that pulls your Satan, so you can play your other Python, right?
Yeah, I feel like
The meme is that you have your Prince of Darkness, and so when you play Python, you only draw Astaroth's Reckoning, right? So it's a really fun meme, but it's
I love it.
Yeah, okay, so if you play this after Prince of Darkness, you're guaranteed to draw Astaroths. I like that. Oh god.
Queen of the Dreadsea, right? Queen of the Dreadsea, Prince of Darkness, Python. Done.
I love it.
All right, that seems pretty sweet.
All right, but
I don't know about competitive.
And
Ri-
you have a Dragon Claw pendant on the board, and so next turn you automatically win.
Easy.
oh man.
That's pretty spicy.
But yeah, like realistically speaking, I could see this being like a one of tech option just for the Dragon Mirror, like Sprigwaza said, and that's about the extent of this card's playability, outside of Meme Town.
Yeah. I don't know if I like this card over Queen of the Dreadsea in that same spot though. I think that's one of my problems with it. Like Queen of the Dreadsea is pretty close to 10 mana. Like you win the game on the spot. This card I feel like kind of takes a while to get there, so I don't know yet. All right. So this card's like maybe one of. How about the other one? So this one is Prime Dragon Keeper. It is a 3PP 1/5 that can't be attacked if Overflow is active for you. So it's like a reverse Forte. And then it says whenever an allied Dragoncraft follower that originally cost 3 PP or less comes into play, deal 2 damage to a random enemy follower and 1 damage to the enemy leader if Overflow is active for you. So I'm gonna assume that all of that does not happen if you're not in Overflow. Does that sound about right?
Yeah, I think so.
I stopped listening when you said 3 mana 1/5 because that's all this card is.
I don't know how I feel about this card. It's gonna need some testing in order for me to even have like an opinion on it, because otherwise it just seems kind of trashy.
I mean, you could play this in OTK. It's pretty bad, but it's one of the cards you could play in OTK if you really want to fight for the board. But just play Star Phoenix. It's cheaper, more affordable, and it's not a 1/5.
Yeah, I don't know. I just feel like it's bad in general. Like you need Overflow to do anything.
Python is better.
And you need to keep all these 3-cost or under cards in your hand until Overflow.
Yeah, that seems pretty awkward, huh? This card seems pretty bad.
I mean, the idea is you play your Star Phoenix, right?
Oh, yeah, Star Phoenix would be
Oh
pretty
my
cool to
goodness,
combo with
it's
this.
so
But
awkward though.
it sounds like we're waiting. Like it sounds like to actually get any kind of value out of that, we'd be waiting until like turn 10 to play our Star
To
Phoenix
get any value with that
combos.
is that you have to give Dragon D-Shift or something.
Okay, well,
Dragon D-Shift. Ramp up
I
to
think-
18 mana.
I think we all know that's not happening. Okay, so that was our last Dragoncraft card. What do you guys think of this Dragon expansion? Is it like Wonderland Dreams bad, or is it a little bit better?
It's a lot better than the previous expansion, but still not what I would consider good.
Hey, Wonderland Dreams, they got a really good card. It's called Queen of the Dreadsea.
Yeah, pretty much.
And
Yeah, I think they got some decent silvers and bronzes.
Yeah, some of these cards could see play, right?
There's more aggressive dragon, more OTK dragon, less ramp, less control, and not really any storm options.
Yeah, it sounds to me like Cygames has decided that Ramp Dragon is about as good as it should ever be, and they are just not printing cards for that anymore. Yeah, like they're trying to push different decks now.
Yeah.
which I mean,
And Dragon hasn't gotten much at all recently.
I think somewhat deservedly. I don't think that deck can take any more powerful cards and still be balanced.
I mean, you know, eventually you'll look at a 3-cost ramp card that summons, I don't know, a 1/1, right?
I hope not. Okay. Alright, so that's it for Dragon. How about we talk about Forest next? So, Forest was a pretty weak class during Wonderland Dream, so hopefully it got something sweet. So up first, we've got Starry Elf. That is a 3PP 2/2 that adds a random amulet from your deck to your hand. So it's basically Prism Priestess for Forest.
like this basically pulls like Brambles, right? Because I can't see any other amulets that you could play.
Yeah, Brambles is probably the big one for me. There's another amulet that might get played as well. And there's also PTP, which some people have mentioned.
I
Yeah,
mean,
it's-
if it
yeah.
says PTP, I want to say, please alter fate your PTP for me. I would really like you to do that.
Yeah,
Oh my
that
goodness.
seems pretty questionable. Like, you don't want to tutor PTP, right? That isn't a thing that comes up, I
I
think.
mean, the idea, it might be is like turn 9, you alter fate, play this card, draw your PTP, but if you're PTPing on turn 9, I'm like, baha, right?
Yeah, it's a little late by then. I don't know. I think the main tutors will be the new Forest Amulet and Wood of Brambles. Because I think playing this on turn 3 into Wood of Brambles on turn 4 plus your 2 fairies is a pretty solid play.
Very strong.
I can't think of anything beyond that, though. Seems like it'll be okay. I don't think this card could ever be amazing. Does anybody have anything to add?
Nope.
Okay. Moving on then, we've got Hyperia. This is a 5 PP 5/4 with fanfare. Gain ambush until the end of your opponent's turn. So this isn't like the sword fanfare, the sword ambushes that stick around forever. This one only lasts one turn. What do we think of this card?
I actually really like it. Like,
really
it's a
like
good
it?
way to get some nice chip damage in. The only problem is that you might not have time to play this. So maybe if there's like some kind of tempo forest list, you could play this card as a finisher or something like that.
Oh yeah, Tempo Forest. You could play this on 5 and maybe even Cynthia on 6 gets 6 damage in, something like that. Yeah. I can kind of see this card. I don't think this card will see play in Roach. I think on turn 5 you have much better things to be doing.
Yeah, I
Get
think
too
that
busy fighting for the board or something.
Yeah, you can't just like maybe against a control deck you can get away with doing nothing on turn 5 with this card, but otherwise I'm not really seeing it. So it's like Tempo Forest or Bust with this one then, right?
yeah, you pretty much summed up my opinions on this.
I might not even put this in tempo though.
Might not. Okay.
In
So-
a game where like half my opponents who play forest are gonna have 6 Will the Forest, I don't think this is gonna live.
Yeah. It dies to a lot, right? It dies to like Ambush is nice, but it still doesn't protect it from things like Tribunal, Will of the Forest,
Or Themis,
Themis.
the turn after.
Conflagration. Yeah, it's not really a reliable way to get 5 damage, and I'm not sure about this one. Okay. That one didn't go so well, but how about the next one? Fita the Gentle Elf. This is a 2PP 2/2, which I already like. And it says, whenever this follower is buffed, draw a card.
I can't wait to play this versus Atlantis. Oh wait. It's this. Okay, never mind. Okay, I misread.
Yeah.
Still pretty dope though. I like it.
Yeah, so this card has to be buffed. I assume that the Wood of Brambles buff will not work, but like any kind of stat buff through a card that we might see soon, or through,
Cynthia,
yeah, stuff like that.
Ephemera.
That'll draw
there's a
you
lot
a
of
card.
cards.
I originally said this card was bad, and I'm like, yeah, there's so much removal for this card, but if there are people who are trying to relive the neutral dream or playing decks that like just play 2 drops on turn 2, if I'm going first, this card is insane. It draws me 2 or 3 cards.
Yeah. There's gonna be a combo with this card later on that might draw you a couple cards. I think this card's okay, given that like it's likely to be comboed with.
Yeah, I think
Otherwise,
this is definitely going to see play.
it is a 2-drop. I don't think you can play it in Roach. I don't think this card is. I don't think this card is worth it. Like you want consistent Roach pulls, and this is not. Like Lily was Lily and May were like the only 2 cards that saw play in Roach. That cost 2 or less, and I don't think this card is on that level. Okay, so after this one, we've got Airbound Barrage. I have heard so much hype for this one. This is a 1 PP spell. It returns an allied follower or amulet to your hand, and then does 3 damage to an enemy follower. It's worth noting that in order to play this spell, you need both something to return and an enemy follower to damage. So you can't play this on your own empty board, and you can't play this on your opponent's empty board.
Dude, this card's insane. I feel like this shit's gonna get nerfed at some point.
Forest finally got 3 damage removal.
Yeah, and it costs 1 mana. That's absurd. I think this card's a lot easier to play than anybody who doesn't like it is giving credit. Like, you can just put a fairy into play and then bounce it, and then it was a 2 PP deal 3. And like your forest, you always have a fairy sitting around in your hand.
Yeah, you can poke with Roach too.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could even poke with Roach and then hit their board while picking your Roach back up.
You give some
There's
roach
lots
some
of
nice reach.
uses. Mm-hmm.
It's an insanely strong card, but a lot of people, not now, but you'll eventually get to the point where a lot of people are going to complain on how they don't have a follower and amulet to bounce because they drew 3 of these. And we'll laugh
Yeah.
every time that happens in competitive play.
Yeah, there's going to be some tension between this card and Nature's Guidance, which is the other bounce that sees a lot of play, because you got to be careful about putting too many bounce effects in your deck, and not enough followers to actually bounce.
I don't know. I just jam 3 of these and just treat them as removal, and only use them for combo if you have to. Like you just treat them as removal. Keep Nature's Guidance as your combo card.
Oh yeah, okay. So so sprays at 3 of each, right?
I think it's like a 2 of just for reach on your roach.
I think I'd be happy to play this. I think I'd be happy with what Spray just said. Just play 3, treat them as a removal, and then like later, if I need to combo it with roaches, like it's still there. It can do that. Yeah, so I'm definitely gonna try 3 and 3.
Yeah, basically worst case scenario is you play your roach, deal 1 damage, bounce this. It sounds terrible, but it's better than like every 3 cost removal in the game.
Yeah, deal 3 and then deal 1 to your opponent.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd take a card like that.
It's not even that bad.
Okay. After this, we have our silvers. So yeah, our first one is. Wait, is this a silver? Can't tell from the picture.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, oh yeah, it is silver. Okay, sorry, I have a really low quality picture in front of me. So this is a silver card. It is called Ariana Natural Tutor. It is a 4 PP 3/3, and its fanfare is to add an Ivy Spellbomb to your hand. If you have 3 or more followers on the board, change the cost to 1.
Wait, on the stream we have a different part.
Oh yeah, wait, we skipped
do?
over Elf Song. it's fine.
Song.
We'll go back to it.
Okay,
Oh,
my bad. I messed up the order. So Ivy Spellbomb, if I remember correctly, is a 3 PP that does a 3 PP spell that does 3 damage to a follower and then 2 damage to the enemy leader if you played 2 or more spells this turn. Is that...
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Or sorry, not spells, just cards. So how do you feel about a card that puts that into your hand and potentially reduces the cost to 1?
I don't think it's gonna get reduced to 1 that often.
You don't think so? So you think that so it's 3 or more followers, including this one. So you need 2 other followers when you play this. You don't think that's gonna happen too often?
Yeah, I don't think so either.
Okay.
If it does happen, this card is great.
So it's pretty conditional. How do you think about just adding the Ivy Spellbomb? Are you happy with that?
No.
Not especially. Okay.
It's like a considerably worse like Cudgel, or like Dragon Warrior.
There was a...
I mean, this is okay going first. I think it's a good card going first.
Yeah,
Fire
going
Princess
first.
is good, but this is, and Fire Princess didn't see play, so this is, That's all I can say about this guy.
Yeah, I mean, Flower Princess, to be fair, had a pretty strict deck requirement.
But in
like,
the deck that should use it, it did not see play.
right. I think Flower Princess's problem was that it was one of the less powerful forest neutral cards, because obviously the more powerful ones are Elf Twins Assault and Beauty and the Beast. And like the more Flower Princesses you ran, the less likely you were gonna get your more powerful effects off. So they ended up cutting Flower Princess because of that, not because it was a bad card.
I mean, if you can consistently get this card's effect to reduce the cost to 1, then this card is like, at least a 1 of in every single, like, Silver Bolt, quote-unquote, Elephant / OTK one-shot decks. It would be really good.
I'd be good for Tempo Force, depending on like what 4-drops do they have.
Yeah, Forest usually suffers from a lack of good 4-drops.
Ephemera.
Okay,
That's like the
yeah,
best
Ephemera
4-drop they got.
Ephemera might be a good 4-drop for Forest. But Yeah, I don't know. This one seems kind of weak. Ivy Spellbomb is not a card that anybody ever played, really.
I don't know
So,
if they only have Ephemera. I'd probably play this with Ephemera.
Yeah, I'm gonna play this with Ephemera, 2 of each.
okay.
But that's where I cap my deck though. So
All right. Yeah, seems like we're not particularly hot on this, but it might see play. Okay. So yeah, let's go back to Elf Song. Sorry. So this one's a 2 PP spell. It adds 2 fairies to your hand, so it's kind of like Fairy Circle. And then if you played 2 other cards this turn, give all your followers +1/+1.
I love it.
What do you guys make of it? All right, Sunfire already loves it.
Yeah, I think it's pretty insane in tempo decks. Tempo Forest.
Okay, so this is good in tempo. Any thoughts to playing this in any other deck, like Roach? Or... No.
Not at all.
No.
Not even a little bit. All right, seems reasonable to me. Yeah, the +1/+1 to all your followers doesn't seem good in a Roach deck. And you're paying an extra mana on your Fairy Circle, so that one seems like a no-go. How do you see this playing out in Tempo Forest? Like,
I'd put 2 of them in.
you put 2 of them in? Like, can you imagine, or can you describe to me a common situation?
A common situation. Well, turn 1, Spring Green Protection into Fida, right? Then after that you play Angelic Knight or Sybil. And then somewhere around turn 6 you get your Elf Song, because honestly you're never gonna get it that early.
Okay.
That's the issue. But that's kind of how Tempo Forest will work.
All right, so we're not gonna get this effect off too early, is what you're saying?
Yeah, unless you want to buff 1/1 fairies, and you have your Wood of Brambles established for literally 1 turn, and it's a defensive Brambles.
Mm-hmm. So, what? Oh, you brought up Wood of Brambles. Well, how do you see this card comparing to Wood of Brambles? Because I think that's the other big 2 PP card that makes 2 fairies, and then makes your cards better.
I put 3 Brambles and 2 Fairy Whisperers, and 2 of this card. So basically, this is just here because why not have a boost on turn, like after turn 4, since we only play 4 drops basically, and everything else is 3 and below. But besides that, this card is not very strong. It's just there for the extra reach.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Okay.
Ephemera that sometimes adds 2 fairies in your hand. That's essentially what I'm trying to say.
That doesn't sound too exciting to me.
Yeah, it's a flexible,
okay.
less good Ephemera.
I mean, it boosts HP.
Yeah, boosting HP is pretty relevant. Yeah, I'm not too sure on this one. I think it might be okay in tempo. Alright. Let's see. So after this one, we've got Dolorblade Demon. This is a 6 PP 5/5 with Clash, deal 1 damage to all enemy followers. Nope.
It's one of those cards where I can get up, be right back, and you guys will be at the next card. So see you soon.
Yeah, this one seems pretty awful. I don't really know about paying 6 mana for this kind of effect, and it doesn't even have a ward. Okay. So that one was a pretty easy no. After that, we have Elf Singer Harmony. So this one is a 2 PP 3/2. So those are some pretty great stats already. But it's got Fanfare. You can no longer play followers from your hand as long as this follower is in play. What should I be thinking about this card?
At least the 3/2 makes it easier to kill off. So I think going second, this card's like decent because they play a 2/3, you can kill a 2/3.
Mm-hmm. So occasionally it'll be able to hit something for 3, and then after that, like, you can keep playing your normal cards.
Yeah, probably wouldn't play it though. Like, it's probably not worth it. It's probably better 3 drops that do. I mean, better 2 drops that do better things than just having extra HP attack.
Yeah, this one seems pretty iffy to me. Like, it's a 2-drop, we can't put it in Roach. And I can't imagine wanting a card in Tempo Forest that says you can't play other followers I don't know. It seems like a disaster in just about any deck that you're gonna put it in. So I don't think this card will ever see play.
The only upside is that it's easy to kill.
Yeah, it is nice that it will die most of the time. But if we're saying that about the card already, then why are we playing it? Okay, so that's it for the silvers. Next, we've got our first gold card. This one is Spring Green Protection. So this is a 1 PP amulet with countdown 3. Its last words say draw a card. If you bounce it to your hand, you also get to draw a card. And at the end of your turn, give a random friendly follower +1/+0. So it kind of sticks around and gives your followers a little bit of extra attack. And then at the end of 3 turns, you get to draw a card, or you can bounce it with Guidance or your Arrow Barrage to draw a card as well.
Yeah, I mean, this looks pretty good there, Overrush.
Mm-hmm. This card also looks pretty good with Vita, so this is the card that I was mentioning earlier. So Vito gets a buff whenever you gets to draw you a card whenever it gets buffed. So this Spring Green Protection can buff it every single turn and give you an extra card as long as it's hitting the Vita. So that's a pretty powerful 1/2. So like, play this card on 1, play Vita on turn 2, and then you immediately get to draw a card. And then if Vita lives to fight again, then you get to draw another card.
I mean, you don't really have to think of it like that. You kind of have to think of this. This is Sacred Plate if you have a Vita. If not, it's, some +1s, a draw card later. If you're playing a deck that's not Vita, you could still bounce this card and draw cards, so it's okay.
Yeah. To me, it seems like a card that I'm not sure if it's particularly strong in Roach. I think this card's decent in tempo. Like, it'll give you some extra stats and then it'll replace itself later. I don't know how good it is that we're constantly returning this card with Arrow Barrage and stuff. Like, you get to draw a card, sure, but you're pretty much only going to be drawing 1, maybe 2 cards with this over the course of a game.
Yeah, it's probably not that good in Roach. Just doesn't draw enough cards, and the +1/+0 isn't very useful.
Yeah, Roach isn't really a class that has much of an early board presence. Yeah, this one I'm not sure yet, but I think this card will see play. Like, I just don't think it's anything amazing.
Yeah,
I
also
see play. And
I'll
it will
definitely
also
see play.
be the top deck that you get.
Yeah, exactly. If you top deck this, you're gonna be really sad because it basically does nothing in the late game.
pretty much.
Okay. Next we've got Venus. This is a 5 PP 4/5, so those are acceptable stats right there. And it's got Fanfare. Add a Harvest Festival to your cost, and this is the best part. Set its cost to 0. So Harvest Festival is normally a 4 PP amulet that draws a card at the end of the turn if you played 3 or more cards in that one turn. So setting its cost to 0, so that's instead of 4, it costs nothing. What do you think about this one?
A 5-mana unnerf Harvest Festival. I love it.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, 5 mana, you get a 4/5, which is I already think that's acceptable. Like, I mean, it's not something that you're happy to play, but you're not cheated on the stats. And then you get to play a free Harvest Festival. If you can somehow play one more card that turn, you immediately get to draw a card off the Harvest Festival, and then it's active for like the rest of the game, basically.
The question is just how many 5-drops can you put in your Forest Craft before you think, how many Will of the Forest do I have to cut?
I mean, you can play the 6-mana Will of the Forest now.
But why not have 6 Will of the Forest, right?
Okay, so yeah, there's a good point there. Forest 5-drop is pretty overloaded. There's Dance of Death, there's Fina, there's Will of the Forest. Are there any other ones that I'm missing?
Those are the main ones.
Those are the main ones, yeah. So it is pretty overloaded, but how do we think this compares to those?
I like it a lot. I'm definitely going to play this card at some point.
Well, I'll play this card.
Okay.
I mean, Harvest Vessel's just good.
Yeah, like literally the first problem card in this game was Harvest Festival.
Festival is such a powerful card that it got nerfed pretty bad early on in this game.
I think PTP can come back based on this.
I think VTP, I want to play this card in Roach. It makes a 0 cost and it doesn't take an evolve point to do so.
Yeah, PTP Roach. I don't know about tempo though. Like, I don't know how much tempo needs the board space.
Oh yeah, Tempo's pretty board space reliant. But I think drawing a card every turn is something that even Tempo would be interested in.
Depends
I don't
on
know.
how fast your tempo's gonna be, though. If you're gonna be
Yeah.
able to afford to put 5 drops, play Roach, right? Pure Mono Roach, cap at 5.
Maybe.
Probably 5.
I don't know. But I think this card's fantastic. I don't know, like, I'm not sure right now that I would put 3 in my deck, because, I mean, the Harvest, like, you don't want too many Harvest Festivals on board, even if they are free. But, you know, I'm definitely going to try 2. I'm going to start at 2, and if it turns out to be so good that I want it every game, I will...
I mean, at worst, the 0 cost for Roach.
Yeah, exactly. The worst case scenario is you get a 0 cost for Roach. And if you need to, I mean, we have 6 bounce spells now. We can just pick up the amulet when we need space again.
Yeah, I'd definitely say like a 2 of. Seems like pretty solid.
Okay. So it sounds like we like that one a lot. How about this next one? This one is called Demon Child Zane. It is a 3 PP 2/3 with a ward. And it also has Clash. If you have no friendly followers on the board, gain +1 attack. So I see the Grimnir stat line, and I see the potential to gain a little bit more stats, but only if it's only if this is your entire board. What do you guys make of this one?
I don't really like it. I want to like it, but I feel like it's just subpar.
It's like Ancient Elf without the good parts.
Ancient Elf without the good parts. Okay. I was gonna say Lily without the good parts, but
But
yeah, that
Ancient
also.
Elf.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if there's a force deck that reliably does not play fairies and wants to play a 3 cost 2/3 ward.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's pretty harsh on tempo, right? Like, I would want to play this in tempo, except how often is your board empty as that deck? I don't think that's gonna happen very often, and I don't see playing this in Roach decks over like our other great 3 drops like Goblin Mage, Lilac, and Ancient Elf. Like the 3 drop is already hotly contested, and I don't think this card is as good as any of those.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
It's nothing special for
Yeah.
a pretty hard condition.
Mm-hmm. All right. So now we have our legendary. So we've got 2 right here. So the first one is Cassiopeia. This is a 6 PP 3/3. It better have some really good text to go with that. And its fanfare is basically cast Will of the Forest. For each card in your hand, do 1 random damage to an enemy follower. What do we think of this one? We're paying an extra mana for Will of the Forest, but we're also getting a 3/3 body as part of the deal.
I mean, the best thing is you get to run more Will of the Forest.
Well, let me just say this. We don't just have 3 Will of the Forest, we don't have 6. Now we have 12 Will of the Forest.
So you're saying we're bouncing this card and
We're
reusing?
bouncing it
Oh
all the time.
yes. Okay. Yeah, I can't imagine many decks being able to put up much of a board presence against that many Will of the Forests.
Yeah, if you're able to bounce it, it's pretty
Yeah.
insane.
I feel
Yeah.
like this puts it into like a situation where like, you know, like in a days where like you'd like run Tia and then you'd have to kill like the 1/1 so they don't bounce it and then play like another, you know, ward.
Mm-hmm.
I think this card's gonna see like a lot of play. Honestly, it's like too good not to.
Yeah, this card seems fantastic, and if you ever get to bounce it, your opponent's going to be crying. All right. After that, we've got King Elephant. This is a 10 PP 1/1. I don't know about 10 PP 1/1, but
Punk
it's got
champ.
Storm. This follower ignores wards, so it'll do 1 damage through a ward. Oh, okay. It's got a fanfare. Alright, so its fanfare says, return all friendly followers to your hand, then gain +1/+1 for each card in your hand. So it's anywhere between a 1/1 and a
9/9.
10?
Oh wait.
Yeah.
No.
10-10.
Oh yeah. Okay. So it would be a 10/10
Yeah.
because it gets
basically-
replaced.
Yeah, you have to have a follower on the board to get the 10/10. But yeah, if your hand is full when you cast this, and you have some followers on the board, you will get to hit them for 10 in the face.
So this is the new Forced Albert.
The new Forest ignores wards too.
Doesn't need evolve.
Forced Albert with reach. Love it.
Nice. I know people have been burning up some spicy 1-turn kill combos with this card. Can anybody tell me what those are?
Just play it in a wolf deck over Silverbolt.
Area
Bounce your roaches. Yeah, area.
Wait,
Oh, yeah.
you could see Queen Area in this.
Your hand will be empty though.
No damage.
Your
Oh,
hand's
wait.
empty. It'll do no damage.
No, but oh yeah, you're right. Never mind.
Yeah.
Never mind.
let's not do that one. But yeah.
It'll be area to
it's
3/3. Yeah, 6 damage.
easy 6 damage.
You don't
Yeah.
get the evolve point, right? You could do like 8 or 10 damage. Come on.
Yeah, okay, so we're definitely not combining it with Queen of the Dread Sea, but Wolf is definitely a pretty strong one, right? Casting this for 0 seems like cheating.
But for anyone who's trying to play double elephant with your wolf combo, don't do that. That's 1 more mana cost or only 1 more damage. Play 1 silver bolt, 1 elephant. It's much better.
Yeah, and if you have an evolve point, that's lethal still? Mm-hmm.
And it comes out on turn 9, so 1 turn faster is always more important, especially against like Gigas or other decks in general.
I've also heard Ariat for like the actual one shot. Like you play. You can also do that one on turn 9. So you wolf on turn 8, it dies. Then you get your King Elephant on turn 9. You play it along with Ariat, and you do 20 damage to your opponent's face.
But that's another card you have to put into your deck.
Yeah, it's true. Ariat's not a card. you would
Doing 20 is
normally-
pretty hard without Youyo point. You're more likely to do like 18
Mhm.
or 17, even 18 or 17. That's more likely than 20.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to actually have 9 cards in your hand.
Okay. But how viable do we think this is? Like, Silverbolt's not really a deck that I think of when I think of the past expansion. I don't really I don't know how well Silverbolt would do then. But looking into the new expansion, do you think that this King Elephant is enough of an upgrade that we'll see it? We'll see White Wolf come back.
Yeah, I think in decks that you would play the Jungle Warden, you'd probably just like chuck in like 1 of these or like 2 of them for feeling brave. But besides that, like I really don't see like any other applications really. I mean, it's basically just that with like some like really good reach since it ignores ward.
I don't know. Roach decks feel so consistent. I don't know if they want this. That's the thing. Like, the Roach decks have gotten better. They got more tools, more removal. I don't know if they want White Wolf and this card.
So like Wolf is so roaches are so good right now. Like they just printed so many good roach cards. You don't really want to play this one too. Okay,
Yeah.
I can see that.
For the
Alright.
first 3 to 4 weeks, people will play this deck, and I'll see a lot of Forcecraft, and then everyone will drop this card and be like, oh, I wasted 3,500 vials. Let's play Roach. This
Alright.
card is fun. This card is strong, but it doesn't really fit the current meta unless you slow down the game a lot.
Okay. So that was the last Forest card. What do we think about Forest this expansion? Is Forest making a comeback?
I'm really excited for the feature of Forest. I think they added some really good
They got-
options.
They got a bunch of tools.
Uh-huh.
A lot of tools. For not just Roach, they got like Tempo.
Yeah. So things look pretty good for this expansion, right?
Yep.
Alright. That's what I want to hear. Okay. So after this one, we've got Haven. And the first Haven card is Star Bishop. So Star Bishop is a 2PP 2/2. So that's average statted already. It's got Fanfare, heal a friendly follower for 2 defense.
I think it's trash.
Haven has followers.
Yeah, especially not on turn 2, they don't, right?
If this was like Fanfare restore 2 defense to like an ally, so you could like restore 2 HP to face, that'd be good. But
I mean, then it'd be a straight upgrade over a 2/1 healer.
yeah,
Yeah.
but
If
like
it could only hit your face, then this card would be better.
yeah, I don't know. Like I can't think of any like situation where you just like want to heal your followers.
Yeah. Plus, if we wanted a 2-drop that could do that, don't we already have that like Frog Cleric card?
Yeah.
And that one heals for 3. I'm not really seeing this card.
No.
Alright, how about the next one? We got Star Chaser Sprite. This is a 4PP 3/3. Its fanfare is draw X cards, where X equals the number of allied amulets in play.
I am gonna play this card a lot. I played Dark Ritual quite a bit in like Eidolon, and I feel like that Amulet Haven is really gonna make a. I don't want to say like a comeback, but like I think it's gonna be really good this expansion. So I'm gonna play this in the place of that.
Yeah, it seems like a good card. The problem just is if you're playing amulets your first 2 turns, you're probably not going to draw that many cards. Probably like 1, 2, maybe.
I think the main amulet that you're going to be drawing cards off is called Arya. I don't really know of too many other amulets that you're going to be playing that early, although we will see another one. Or another couple, actually, real soon.
To be honest, in a world where amulets are really good, I would hope that I filled my board with amulets so I could not play this card. Because if I have to play this card, then amulets are not that great.
Yeah. I don't know. I think it's okay. Like, you'll often have one amulet in play. So it's like 4 PP draw 1. I don't think that's that bad.
It's okay.
Good going first.
Yeah, you're probably gonna want this a little bit more going first, because on going second you'd much rather cudgel or something. So I don't think it's that bad, but I don't think it'll really see that much play either. Okay, so after that we've got Sister of Punishment. I don't know about getting punished by sisters. So this is a 3PP 2/3. And it's got Fanfare, deal 2 damage to an enemy follower with buffed attack or defense. Huh.
Cool card. It can snipe an Evo follower. I don't think it does enough though.
Does this work? Should this work on
did
Evo
not hit
followers?
Evos. No, it can't.
Because as far as I
Evos are
know,
weak stat lines.
yeah.
Doesn't work on Evo? Okay, it's pure garbage then.
Yeah,
I think
I
it
don't really
does.
like it, especially now that like Alice is like nerfed.
Yeah, I think the main idea here was to use it on Alice targets, but even
mean,
then,
I think
Yeah.
the meme that they're trying to point out here is that since Alice got nerfed, this doesn't do 2 damage. It technically did 3 damage. Besides that, no, it's bad.
Okay, so I just want to point out: is that a floating severed wolf head in the art?
Yeah. Yeah.
What?
I'm scared of this sister.
It's
Well,
like her
well,
flail.
Okay.
Okay. After that, we've got Red Hot Boots. So this is a 2PP amulet with countdown 3 and Fanfare, deal 3 damage to an enemy follower. Last words, deal 1 damage to a random enemy follower. So
Or 2
Haven,
damage removal.
yeah, Haven got their 2 mana 3 damage spell that isn't scripture.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah, this card looks pretty good to me. I will be probably happy to play 6 2-mana removal spells in my Haven decks from now on.
This card is
Uh,
basically esports. The end. There will be some esports.
Yeah, there's
Basically
gonna be
esports.
there's gonna be some exciting esports moments where somebody's gonna lose the game because this happened to hit their 1 health follower.
It'll hit like a
I
7-1 or something like that.
Yeah, I don't know about that part of the card. I don't think that part of the card is particularly relevant, but like it will force your opponent to play around it so that they don't get blown out by esports.
No, I've learned from fantasy. Don't play around anything. You can be godly.
True. I don't know. Would fantasy play around this?
No.
No. Okay, you're right. Fantasy doesn't play
Why
around
would he
anything.
play around this? He would go face.
Okay.
He would just outcurve you. Come on.
All right. So that's it for our bronze cards. After that, we've got Temple Ogre, which is a 5 PP 4/3. This follower takes no damage if it would be dealt 2 or less, so ignore anything that's 2 or less. And Clash gain +0/+1. So every time it fights, it gains 1 health. And then when it gets evolved, it doesn't gain any stats, but it gains the ability to attack twice per turn. This is a pretty unusual card. What do you guys think of this?
This card might be good in like Alana's, but besides that, I don't really think you're gonna use it that often. I mean, like it could actually be really insane in Atlantis, actually.
There's a lot of 2 damage this set, so it could be really good. Like, there's a lot of 2 damage, random damage.
But like,
And if there's a lot of follower-based decks, I think this could be good.
my main problem with this is like it's a 5-drop. If this was like a 4 or like, well, actually not even like a 6-drop. If it was just like a 4-drop, I'd be like pretty cool with it. But like the 5-drop slot is like pretty filled in Haven. There's like not a whole lot of wiggle room there.
Yeah, Haven's already got Ancient Lion Spirit and March Hare's Tea Time for like really powerful 5-drop evolves. Because I think this card is going to demand an evolve point almost every time, right?
Yeah.
Like, would you play this and just be like, all right, I'm leaving it on the table like this?
Absolutely
No.
not.
Yeah. So like it's kind of similar to Ancient Lion Spirit in that like it's really good at taking out a bunch of 2/2s. But how would you compare this to Ancient Lion Spirit? Because I think that's the closest competition it has.
Calendar? Ancient Lion's coming back.
Yeah, I think Ancient Lion just does an overall better job.
At its job, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. I think the card's not bad. It just like isn't as good as the other 5-drop evolve that exists.
Yeah, and like even in like the deck that I would want to play it in personally, like Atlanta's, you already have like 10k and like the 5-drop slot that like requires an Eva as well, and it's just kind of, I don't know.
Yeah. So this one's probably not going to see play. Cool card though. I think I can see getting blown out in arena by this all the time.
Yeah, definitely.
After the Ogre, we have Star Torrent. This is a 3 PP spell. It deals 1 damage to all enemy followers and decreases the countdown of all allied amulets by 1.
This is exactly the card Haven needed. I love it.
Ooh.
It's so
Okay.
good.
Anybody else want to add to that?
This is a Sunfire card. I love it.
Yeah, exactly.
Seems decent, better than Healing Prayer, I think.
Better than Healing Prayer. That's a strong statement. Alright, I mean, I think Healing Prayer was one of the main reasons to play Seraph, right? Like, the fact that you could
Better
add
than
extra
Sister.
heals to your deck?
Right? Better than Sister?
Better than Sister?
Yeah, I think it's better
Yeah.
than Sister.
Yeah, people really don't like playing Sister, right? I've seen people just avoid playing their sisters all the way up until turn 9 when they're finally like killing somebody off with Seraph.
I don't like playing Sister so much that I only put 6 countdown reduction in my Seraph.
I see.
Now I have a reason to put 9.
Yeah, I think this card will see play in Seraph. Are there any other decks that we should be looking out for?
Amulets.
Maybe. Oh wait, no. How's a 3-drop slot in current Stormhaven?
Stormhaven's
Usually,
the deck.
Starforged
Usually you want to spend it playing the what is that card
Birdsong.
called?
Birdsong, right?
Yeah, the 3 mana 3/4
Oh
storm.
yeah.
And then there's also the slight problem of like if you're playing this on 3, I assume you played like Sacred Plea and Beast Call Aria on turns 1 and
Yeah,
2.
it's not that great.
And then this doesn't really do anything. Like,
I mean, this card counters Ancient Alpha if you think about it like that, then. Because it kills your opponent's, Fairy Circle plan.
yeah, but only if you're on the play.
Yeah, so it's pretty bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess it's
So-
only really good in.
Are we down to like this will only see play in Seraph then?
Yeah, Seraph
Yeah.
remains.
Yep.
But I feel like Seraph like really needed something like this, honestly.
Yeah, I think Seraph will appreciate this card.
Because even like back in the day, like people used to run like Angelic Barrage all the time.
Hmm.
So I could definitely see this getting played.
Yeah. Okay. Right. After that, we have Star Priestess, which is a 6 PP 2/3. Yikes. Fanfare: destroy an allied follower or a countdown amulet, then return it to play. So it's like Erd, except it also targets countdown amulets. What are we doing with this card?
Dude, I love this card. I need to figure out like a way to play it, but I want to play it so bad.
All right. So, are there any targets that are particularly good?
Jewel Flame?
Dual flames. Yeah, turn 5 dual flames, turn 6 make a pair of 4/4s,
Just play
and
the Dragon Amulet.
I mean, usually like if you like Tribunal in 4, this is gonna be a target for it.
Yeah, but it resets the countdown number though.
Oh wait.
Still a little sad.
yeah,
Oh
I think
yeah.
I think one of the problems with Tribunal is you won't get the fanfare.
Yeah, that is true.
So maybe that's like that's also the problem with like Marcher's Tea Time is that you're missing out on the fanfare.
I mean, eat a meme and like play it on a Seraph.
Basically, look at this card and be like, okay, Lion of the Golden City, or whatever his name was, right? What would you target with that, except the body is pathetic and you can't play it on turn 4 or turn 5?
Yeah, it's pretty much looks like a bad
That's pretty savage. Hearing that makes me not want to play this card anymore. All right. Yeah. So it seems pretty sweet, but like probably overcosted and understated for what it does.
I mean, just compare it to like Garuda.
Oh
Garuda does
yeah.
3 damage. It pops the amulet. This will pop the amulet, you get it back, but by the time the second amulet pops, it's probably turn 9 or turn 10.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'll find a use
All
for
right.
it.
Sunfire believes. Sunfire believes. Okay. After that, we have Aegina, which is a 3 PP 3/2, and its fanfare is to subtract 3 damage from all the damage that is dealt to your leader until this follower leaves the area. So if you were getting hit by like a 4 power attack, this reduces it to 1.
I would like this card if Noe's didn't exist.
Wait, are we really talking about that card?
Yeah.
I spent the whole entire expansion putting that in every single Haven
Dude,
deck,
same here.
and it did nothing.
I mean, you're pretty much
it worked
playing a
out pretty
3
well
mana
for me.
3/2 ward.
Yeah, that's kind of what you're getting here, right?
Well, I mean,
it's
it's
like-
a 3
it's
mana
like
3/2 ward that gets protected by ward, though.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I don't. I think it's. What happens if you combine this with Noise? Do you get like 0 damage on everything?
Not if
No.
it's less than.
I don't think it stacks like that.
No. I
Shoot.
mean, if you got hit by more than 3 damage, then maybe you take 0. Depends. I don't know. I think it's
Alright.
the order in which you play the cards, right?
Maybe I'm not sure. I think it's funny and worth testing, but like I don't think that'll have an impact on competitive play
Yeah, because both cards are kind
because
of
both cards. Yeah, I don't think this card's really seeing play. Like, I think this card is worse than White Tiger.
Yeah, probably.
And White Tiger saw like fringe play, but not that much. Okay. So that one didn't really work out. How about our golds? So our first gold is Taurus the Great. It is an 8 PP 5/3. that sounds pretty bad. But it has Storm, and whenever this follower attacks another follower, deal damage to the enemy follower equal to this follower's attack. So that's a lot of words that basically say, for the most part, when you hit another follower with this, it'll do 5 damage.
I think this card is really good. You can play it on turn 8 to clear the board for Aegis. You can play it after Aegis to deal surprise burst damage, and it gives... Like, people actually have to be scared of Haven for a bit. They actually have face damage.
Mm-hmm.
Hey,
Yeah, this.
you know what? I really don't like this card too much for Haven, but I think it would be an awesome pool for the Runecraft card.
But you can't pull it with the Ringcraft card, though. It feels sad.
Oh wait, can you not? I thought you could.
Yeah, this is
No.
not the one.
No.
Oh
This is not the
no!
one you play.
Alright, never mind.
No, if only.
Right?
I
Yeah,
love Haven Gilgamesh.
Yeah, this card's basically Gilgamesh, but like with the potential to kill something before it hits back. So like better at trading.
I'll probably put one of these in my deck.
Yeah, 1 or 2, I think, in Aegis.
Yeah, I can see
Yeah,
this
I mean-
card as a one of personally.
People run like a Tech Moon all the time, so you just like throw this in there as like that slot.
I think Moon's a little different, though. When she comes out on turn 6, she's so annoying.
Yeah, I don't know how this card compares to Moon, but
Still don't run
I mean,
Moon, though.
it does
think I
much
like
better
this
at
card
trading.
more.
this card often 2-for-1s. I feel like Moon doesn't always like do that because she'll kill something on the way down, but then she'll die.
Well, realistically, you want to play this card in a deck that also runs Themis, and so this card's great.
Mm-hmm.
'Cause
Yeah,
if
the
this
8-drop.
calls up Themis, and within the 2 turns, this card kills anything, basically.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You just kind of could like often wanted an 8-drop that didn't require an evolve point, so you can save one for next turn. And I think this card does a decent job in that spot.
I mean, it kills Zeus.
Oh yeah, it trades for Zeus, huh? That's pretty big. That's not nothing, right?
Yeah, it just doesn't hit Baja, though.
Yeah, I mean if you evolve it, it'll actually trade for a Baja.
But you can also think of this card as an Odin that has 1 more attack, but it can go face.
Yeah,
And
it'll kill something or go face. Yeah, I like that. Okay, so we're all like kind of okay on this one. Like we'd play 1 or 2.
Yeah.
Okay. Alright. After this, we've got Globe of the Starways. This is a 1 PP amulet. It's got countdown 3. Fanfare at a random countdown amulet from your deck to your hand. Last words, draw a card.
This card's gonna see so much play.
Yeah, I think it's really good. It's definitely going to work with the new legend that we're going to be checking out later.
Mm-hmm. So as a 1 PP amulet that draws cards, this is going to have some comparisons with Sacred Plea. Which card do you guys think is better?
Sacred Play, but in very specific cases, Globe.
Globe in an amulet deck.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, obviously, if you don't have amulets, this is pretty bad.
I'm gonna
But-
pretend that every time I play this card, I draw Arya, and so I'll play Arya in 2. If that's the case, this card is the best card ever.
Oh,
if
that-
that's not the case, I cry.
That would be dope.
I mean, this card draws the same amount, is the same cooldown, but you get a card first, and you know what kind of card you're getting. So I think it's way better.
It is better, but then if I play this card and then I draw this card and I don't have a turn 2 play, I feel really bad.
True, but with Arya, you wouldn't
is the
even.
same issue,
With
yes.
Plea, you would
Plea is the same
never
issue.
have a chance.
Mhm.
Mhm. So I think this card will see play over Plea, especially in decks playing Arya. I think. I mean, I can't think of too many Haven decks where I'm not playing amulets. So I think this card will replace Sacred Plea a decent percentage of the time. I really like this one. So yeah, this one looks great. I'm excited to play it. Let's have a look at the next one. It's called Andromeda, and this is the one that you can pull off of the new Rune Legend. So Andromeda is a 2 PP 2/2, so that's a decent stat line already. And we have no abilities except when you evolve it, and when you do evolve it, until end of turn, your other followers take 0 damage.
I feel like these effects like never do anything.
It doesn't help that she takes damage, and she's the one you want to be used to be trading, and the others you like want to go face.
Mm-hmm.
This is like the only gold that you pull from the Rune Legendary that you feel sad.
Yeah, pretty much.
I totally thought it was the other one because this one's so trash.
This one and the 1/2 Bane are probably the worst two you can pull.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know if I would go as far as to call this card trash, but yeah, it's not very strong. And as noted earlier, it's really unfortunate that this card is the one that's going to take damage because you just evolved it. You want to trade with this. Yeah.
I mean, like,
okay.
I feel like Haven doesn't necessarily have like a problem with like clearing boards and stuff, which is like what you would really use that effect for, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Like if it was in like another class, I could see it being played, but the fact that it's in Haven, I don't feel confident in it.
All right. Okay. So those were the golds. Next we have the legendaries, and the first one is called Ether of the White Wing. It is a 6 PP 1/3. And its fanfare is randomly summon one of the highest cost Havencraft followers except this one, costing less than your total PP from your deck. Give all other followers +0/+1. So what that'll do is it'll tutor the highest costing Havencraft card that you could pull from your deck, as long as the cost is 1 less than your current PP, just like Ledger. And instead of killing it, it'll give all your followers +1 health. So
Yeah.
you get.
I think this card's pretty insane. Like, you can tailor what your deck pulls at that high of a cost.
Mm-hmm. Are there any pulls that we're looking in particular to get here?
Yeah, you can pull Aegis, the new legend that we're going to talk about. You can pull Cleric Lancer. You pretty much get, you can choose any high health ward because it buffs those cards as they come out too. You just can't put in like the fanfare cards very much.
Mm-hmm.
Tauros.
Is this a Sunfire card? Is my biggest question.
No, it's the next one.
This is not a Sunfire card?
No.
Are you telling? Okay, then since this is not a Sunfire card, I don't like this card.
No,
Well, not just because of that, but we had the existence of a 0-cost card that would summon 2 4/4s or a Tin Soldier. So when I have a 6-cost card that pulls like Cudgel or Ancient Lion Spirit, this card's okay. It's just not like insane.
I like this card, but I think I'd had trouble like fitting it into like the decks that like I'd want to play it in. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't like this card because it basically says, in exchange for waiting a turn longer on your whatever card it was, you get a 1/3 and +1 health. I don't really see that as being that powerful. Like, this card costs 6. For that 6 mana...
It's coming out of your deck, though.
Yeah, and for that 6 mana, you could have been playing a Themis, you could have played a Dark Jean, you could have played a Judge of Retribution. These are all, like, insane cards.
You basically purposely lowered the power level of your deck to play a 6-mana 1/4.
I mean, only if you play it on turn 6. If you play this every turn, it gets better. Like, if you go later and later. Like, imagine turn 10, you can play this, like, with Aegis. You can get this, Aegis, and Tribunal.
Are we really waiting till turn 10 to play our Aegises?
Yeah.
I mean, that means you don't have Aegis in your hand.
I feel like there's better options to tutor like an Aegis, like with some of the newer cards they added.
There's so much straw power that's coming out. You
Yeah.
probably will have your Aegis by that turn.
I mean, I really already don't have a problem drawing Aegis, so
Yeah, I don't know. This one seems a little iffy to me, but we'll see. Okay.
I just think it's really good tutoring out specific cards, like the new legend we're gonna see.
Okay, so you think it'll be tutoring this next card, and this next card is Avatar, Heresy's Avatar. This is a 7 PP 6/5 with last words. Your leader gains destroy countdown amulets as soon as you play them. That is a powerful effect.
I am so
Uh,
excited.
Who?
This
Yeah.
is gonna be insane. If you could die.
So basically, I'm probably gonna play like my standard Eidolon deck, and just throw this in here for like the late game. So basically, just like keep like Eidolon in, like maybe like you'll just like burn people out like really early, and like if that doesn't work out, you have like really good late game in like an all amulet deck. And plus, in an all amulet deck, you can just like tutor out both of those really easily.
I mean, there's so many amulet card draw that once you pop this, you can probably just cycle through your whole deck and bury them in card advantage.
Oh, so like play this, dump all your sacred pleas and stuff, and just go off.
You can play Temple,
And then Grail.
and then drop your pleas, your whatever amulet you're playing, your Tin Soldiers. Also, for Tin Soldier, do we get the Fanfare? Probably yes, right?
Yeah.
I don't know, but it's possible that you do.
You should.
Because I think the
Oh,
fanfare
2, 4,
triggers
5s.
before this effect goes off.
Yeah.
You get 2 4/5s for 5 mana.
Yeah. So this
I looked at
card's
this card, and basically it says for the rest of the game you can no longer play around Bahamut.
Dude,
that is a little bit awkward, but I don't think that's a huge knock against the card's power.
It's not. It's very strong. On turn 8, I'll die to Roach. But besides that, this card's great.
and I have to say, like, I appreciate that they costed this card 7 instead of 8, like they normally do for these Haven cards.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, if Rush becomes a problem, just play Baron, or whatever, whatever that card's called.
The 5/4 ward untargetable guy.
Yeah.
Or you can just drop the thing that summons the
You can
The
toss
death
this
sentence.
with Zodiac Demon, Zodiac, and then, get the infinite effect. That's cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Zodiac Demon, stop it from being banished. I remember I played a Haven Mirror, and all 3 of them got banished.
That would be so sad.
But I'm gonna put 6 slots of my deck for these cards. This feels a little weird.
Yeah, it's a little bit awkward that this one doesn't stack.
It takes
So,
too
like-
many slots.
How would
Yeah.
it stack? Is destroy them again?
I mean, like the other ones of this kind stack, right? Like Carabo's stacks, Jormungand stacks.
I mean, but this doesn't, like, how is it stacked? You destroy it, there's nothing there for it to destroy again.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm saying that like you don't get any extra effect
I
on
feel
having
like
multiples.
this card has to be like, if you build your deck around it, you're a meme. If you play 1 or 2, and you're playing a semi-amulet deck with Aegis or something like in the middle, like, I don't know, it might be decent. I just don't think it's like, oh wow, I have things on the board all the time, I'm gonna win. Because that was neutral Haven, right? And they did it so much faster.
I mean, I just think you'll be able to draw so many cards that it doesn't matter how inefficient you trade cards for their cards.
Oh yeah, that's for sure.
Yeah. And the thing that I was thinking about doing is just play it with Eidolon. I mean, like, you have that chance of high roll. If you don't high roll, then you have like hella good like late game anyway. It's like a win-win.
I mean, yeah, this card makes it so you draw 3 for 2 costs, draw 2 for 1, draw 2 again for 1. It's very nice.
Yeah, that's pretty powerful.
And you get to play like Grail like right after this too, since it's
Yeah.
7 mana.
I can see this card doing a lot of work. Okay.
You have to pull it off though. That's the main part.
I will, trust me.
Yeah. Okay, so what do we think about what we got from Haven this time?
They got really cool legends.
Yeah, they did
Oh,
get
yeah.
cool legends.
Their cards are cool, that's for sure.
Yeah,
It's hard to figure out how they work though.
I like all the options they got.
Yeah.
I feel like that there's probably like something that like we're missing there, but overall, it's like really good.
We also got a new removal spell that's really good, I think. The
I
2-minute
like
deal
Red
3.
Hot Boots more than the Legendaries, to be 100% honest.
Yeah, I think
think
the
you'll see
biggest
more play.
takeaway is that we're gonna be able to play an extra set of removal spells on the early turns and just survive to our late game. Because our late game would like I think these legendaries make our late game pretty crazy.
Yeah.
I want to see Heresy's avatar work, and if Shadowverse becomes a game where this card works, oh, I am so ready.
Yeah, this seems like a lot of fun to play with.
Mm-hmm.
It'll be like I swear the moment you get those last words off, you're gonna be playing D shift. Like you just
Oh,
draw
yeah,
cards,
yeah,
make
it is.
tons of followers, like just cycle through your whole deck. That seems sweet.
I hope this deck is fast enough to beat D-Chef, though.
Yeah, there are no tools against D shift here. That is a little unfortunate. All right. So it sounds like we think Haven did pretty well this expansion.
Mm-hmm. I mean, he does well
hopefully.
every expansion.
Yeah, Haven does well every expansion somehow. Okay. All right. So now we've got Shadow. So Shadow is our first card is Gloaming Tombs, which is a 2 PP amulet that says whenever an allied follower comes into play, you gain 1 shadow. What do we think of this card?
I think it's a big trash.
I think pretty good.
I don't think I've ever had a problem like generating shadows in Shadowcraft for like what you need to do. And like the fact that this takes up a slot too kind of sucks.
Yeah, I think this card taking up a board spot is probably the biggest knock against it. Because Shadow really needs all those board spots. I will note that this card actually generates more shadows than like any other amulet we've seen. Because if you play like Bone Chimera, after playing this, your Bone Chimera, instead of making 3 shadows, is going to make 6 shadows. What we're going to be doing with all those shadows, I do not know. So I'm not really...
Maybe if you're all in on Tyrant.
Yeah, maybe some kind of like all-in Tyrant meme, but I'm not too sure about this one. I don't think it'll see play right now.
I don't know, you said this generates more shadows than any other shadow amulet, and I agree. Yes, when I play Anti-Meme, this will give me 2 shadows instead of 1 shadow.
Harsh. Okay. Alright. How about the next one? Dark Blade Fiend. This is a 5 PP 3/5 ward. At the end of your turn, you get the following effect: Necromancy 2. Deal 2 damage to a random enemy follower.
Man, I'm really not liking these effects, but I think Shadow's like 5 drop slot is kinda eh. So I could see people playing this.
Yeah, it's ward, something that Shadow actually doesn't have that much of a current mid-range shadow besides Death Breath.
Mm-hmm.
Someone will play this card against me. They will use the 2 shadows to miss and not kill one of my cards. And then they won't have shadows for Death Breath. And I will feel so good. I love this card. Please use it against me.
So this card seems bad then.
Bad.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I mean it's like Arena's, but like
It could be good.
yeah, it's
Depending
got
on the meta.
some power here in that, like in the same sense as Fenrir. Like you can 2-for-1 them, like, but that requires an evolve point and it also requires 2 shadows. That's a lot of ifs. I don't like cards with a lot of ifs. I don't think they work out more often than not. Yeah, I don't see it. After that, we have Caster. Caster is one of the cards you can pull with the new Rune Legend. Caster is a 4 PP 2/3 that has Fanfare. If there are 2 followers on the board, including this one, gain last words, summon a Caster. So 2/3, when it dies, summon another 2/3.
Pretty bad in Shadow. They always have followers.
Oh yeah, I think this isn't exactly 2 followers. So like, if you have more, you don't get the effect, right?
No,
It's
you
just
need to
only
have
one.
exactly 2.
Yeah, so you don't get the effect then. Yeah.
I actually
That
have a
seems pretty
different effect on
questionable.
this card from the
Oh.
Shadow Portal.
Interesting. Wait, what does it say over there?
It says Fanfare, if only 1 allied follower is in play, gain last word, summon a caster.
Oh yeah, that's the same
Yeah.
thing.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
I must have just misheard.
So if there Fanfare, if there are exactly this follower and another one, or Fanfare if there's exactly one other follower.
Oh, yeah, okay.
If it had last word summon a lich instead of summon a caster, I'd be okay. But no.
Yeah, the 2/3 body seems pretty weak. And then all you get is another 2/3, and that's your big payoff for having exactly one other follower, and I don't really like that card.
I feel like this card could have had more design choice, right? It could have slightly different, and it would have been better.
Man, if this card had like evolve, like summon a caster, that'd be cool too. Like,
Yeah,
I'd be down with that.
It's like a 4-mana 2/3. That just feels bad.
Yeah, it seems just too weak.
It's a worse lizard, man. Let's put it at that.
Oh no.
Ouch.
Oh, God.
Okay. After caster, we have Belinus, which is a 2PP 2/2. It doesn't do anything except for last words, deal 1 damage to a random enemy follower.
I feel like, along with Blood, Shadow's like one of those classes that just has like way too many 2-drops. They're like really good.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like this is like it's not bad, it's just like kind of like lacking for like what they need to do.
Uh-huh. I mean, I think this is better than most of the Shadow 2-drops we've got right now. Like, I don't know. We could play, say, Uriel or something, but we could also just play this. This doesn't need an evolve point, and it does 1 damage. I'm not sure that this is better than Uriel, but, I mean, it doesn't demand an evolve point of you.
I mean, I play this with Uriel and the Summoner.
Oh, the Conjure?
Oh, Conjure, yeah. Conjure.
Yeah.
But I play like a 2-split of all of them and be really conditional, and sometimes I get lucky.
Yeah.
I don't know. The 1 damage doesn't feel that good. I guess if they have a 2/3. Actually, I lied. It sounds pretty good if they have a 2/3.
Yeah, it sounds great if they have a 2/3, right? Your
I mean, if they
2-drop
only
just
have a
killed a
2/3.
Grimnir.
But then it's like essentially just like a worse like Snow White.
Snow White is
White's
one of
a
the...
legend.
Snow White's a really
Snow White is one of the best cards that you can play on 2. I don't think it's fair to compare a Shadow 2-drop to that.
Yeah.
I don't know. This one seems pretty good to me. Like we play so many 2-mana 2/2s, right? And this one does something when it dies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Without an evo point.
Yeah, without an Evo point. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I can see this seeing play over a fair percentage of them. Not to mention this random 1 damage. It doesn't sound like much, but it allows your Bone Chimeras to trade up as well.
That's true.
Okay,
I don't know.
maybe that's a much better application right there. I like that.
Yeah, that makes it sound a lot better.
All right, it was the Bone Chimera that convinced you guys. I see.
Mhm.
Okay. Up next, we've got Troth's Curse, which is a... it's this one, right? It is a silver spell that destroys a friendly enemy... destroys a friendly follower and an enemy follower. And you need to have targets for both of these. So, 3 mana, kill one of your cards to kill one of the enemy cards. What do you guys think of this?
I mean, you could use it on like a lurking corpse and just like clear their board.
Necro Assassin substitute for Nev.
Ooh, yeah.
Oh.
That's actually a good point.
Yo.
Because I think Necro Assassin is a better card because for 1 more mana you get a 3/3. But like in net, you actually do not want to play a 4-drop all the time because sometimes you're 2, 3, 7, 8, and in that case, you'd rather play this card. That's a good point.
It's okay.
Yeah, the effect seems fine.
It's fair. It's a very fair card.
Mm-hmm.
It will see play sometimes. Fair card.
Yeah, and I think that's it though. We'll see this in net. I'm not sure about any other Shadow decks.
Yeah, it depends on what type of Nev. Nope. Yeah.
Yeah, like I think if you could play Necro Assassin in your net deck, you'd probably rather have that. But some variations of net don't get to
It
do
is
that.
true that you get to choose what you kill with this card, but the lack of the body is actually the biggest weakness of this card.
Yeah, Shadow really cares about those bodies just sitting on board so you can eat them for cards or turn them into extra skeletons. So, yeah, I don't really see this card seeing play in mid-range at all. Okay. How about this one then? We've got Sora Martial Artist. So Sora JCG Champion is a 2/3, is what we learned.
I approve of this.
3 PP 2/3. When it evolves, it deals 1 damage to 2 random enemy followers.
I don't know. I'm not
Like
liking
Yule.
these.
Yeah, it's like Yule, but 3 mana?
It's Yule, but 3 mana, it doesn't proc every turn.
Oh no.
I mean, I think this card might be a little bit better than Yule, which is unfortunate.
Yeah, I evolve it and then it hits 2 targets that don't die, and then I have to run this into something.
Oh, okay. Well, maybe
So
not.
sad.
Yeah, this
I
card
don't,
doesn't
I don't
seem-
think it's that good compared to
Yeah.
the 3-drops. You're mostly playing like value 3-drops,
Mhm.
like Lich, or not Lich.
I mean, this card's okay, right? This is another balanced card.
We're
But
not
it's not
playing
as
it
good as
then.
the previous balanced card. So this card's, like, underpowered for balanced.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think this card's straight up bad.
Yeah,
That's straight up bad,
you're
yeah.
not playing this card over
Nah.
Bone Chimera or
Rabbit Necromancer, even.
yeah, or even Rabbit Necromancer or even Tenacious Ghost. Like, I think Tenacious Ghost is a better card than this. Yeah?
That's kind of pushing it there.
I don't think so. I think this card is actually just
When
better
people
than.
I mean,
have six
didn't it-
Worse
will
than
before
Tenacious
us, my
Ghost.
Didn't it win-
Tenacious Ghost is kind of bad.
I'm pretty sure that won Shigo, like an NGE.
Yeah, it
So it's confirmed better.
Okay, I guess that's true.
Mhm. Okay. Let's move on to Leonard Necromancer. That is a strange title for somebody to have. Anyways, that's an 8 PP 4/4. That's terrible. But it says at the end of your turn, if you have 4 or more followers on the board, give a random enemy follower -4 attack until end of the opponent's turn. And Fanfare summon 3 skeletons. So it's technically a 4/4, but it also brings 3 1/1s along with it. And then it's got the ability to give the opponent -4 attack until their turn ends. What do you think of this one?
I'd rather play Immortal Thing.
Okay, worse than a 7-drop. That is usually pretty bad news.
I mean, everyone who says it's Fennel, the Bloodcraft card, the 3/6 that summons serpents, is a bad card. This card is much worse. And Fennel is a token, and so this card is worse than a token, so it's worth about 1/4 a card.
Yeah, I'm not liking this. Especially because
Yeah.
Shadowcraft has so many good cards, like right around that cost range. It just makes this card literally unplayable.
Mhm. We've got Ektar,
Mordecai.
Mordecai, yeah, and Immortal Thane. Like, these cards all seem better. Some of them cost 1 PP less as well.
6-drop, 3/3 Tyrant without boost is better.
Even like Nep for that same cost.
Oh yeah, 8 mana is Nep turn. Like, yeah, this card doesn't really compare to any of those. Probably won't see any play. Okay, again with the names. Okay, this thing is
Relsvigar.
Hrelspigr, Svelgr, or whatever. Okay, you know what? You can read it. It's on the screen, right?
It's not
It
on
is-
my screen yet.
It is a 5 PP 4/4, and it says whenever an allied follower dies, draw a card. So this is Necropolis Queen, but 1 less mana and 1 less attack.
I like it. It's probably not playable, but I like
Do you
it.
really need that many cards in Mid Shadow?
Yeah, it seems like Shadow already draws so many cards. I'm not sure they would play like a relatively weak body to potentially draw some cards.
This card's not a waifu. I don't approve.
Alright, this card's out. We don't like this one. Okay, so let's move on to the golds. Our first gold is Mist of Extinction. And it's a picture of a gigantic skull made out of mist, I'm guessing. It's 7 PP. It destroys all enemy followers with 4 or less defense. So it's a one-sided conflagration, basically.
one-sided config.
It's like Shadow, Calamitous Curse.
Yeah.
Yeah, or that.
Seems pretty strong in mid-range and net. Not like you wouldn't want 3 of, but it's pretty strong.
This is like another one of those things that like I feel like Shadow like really needed. I mean, like you got Fell Tempest to kind of do the same thing, but you're not always going to be able to Fell Tempest. So I think you'd run like 1 or 2 of these.
Instead of my one of Iktar, pre-nerfed one of Iktar inside Neptus, I will play this instead because it does the exact same thing that pre-nerfed Iktar would have done.
Destroy all enemy followers with 4 or less defense? Yeah, that sounds about right. Yeah, I don't... I'm probably not putting 3 of this into any deck anytime soon, because it is 7 mana and it is a little bit conditional. But I like that it's one-sided.
I mean, you packed the Nether God everything.
Yeah, exactly. You paid the unenhanced pact of the Nether God on everything. Yeah. I think that's an effect I'd be willing to pay 7 mana for. So yeah. Card is okay.
Yeah, I think
sees a little play.
Basically.
Yeah. Okay. Our next gold is Series of the Night. And this is a 4 PP 1/4. At the end of your turn, heal your leader for 2 defense, and Clash, deal 2 damage to the other follower. This is something we don't see that much in Shadow, right? Like actual life gain cards?
I think this is what makes Shadow so good versus aggro, because Shadow used to get like run over sometimes. This thing essentially deals 3 damage to whatever attacks it, and it has 4 health.
I'm really digging this card.
I remember seeing this card, and I tried to forget it from my head because it was the one blood hate card that Shadow got. And now I remember, and I never want to see this card, because then I never get to play Bloodcraft against this card.
Yeah, gaining 2 life, getting 2 life at the end of every turn is like civil.
You can't even kill this card though, that's the biggest problem.
Yeah, it kills infinite 2/2s.
Kills all your tokens.
Yeah, it kills all your bats, all your snakes, all your 2/2s. It's pretty likely to get a free trade on the turn if you evolve it.
If someone evolves this on
6
4,
health.
I have not a single card in my deck that can kill this card. Not a single card.
Yeah, it'll go up to 6 health, and if the 2 damage Clash killed something, then it'll stay there, and then they have to somehow evolve over it.
Maybe Scarlet, right? Scarlet survives with like 1 health, but that means I have to have Scarlet to answer this 1 card.
Yeah.
Yeah, Scarlet answers it. Uriel kills itself trying to answer it.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Looks like this is a pretty powerful card, like extremely strong against aggro. Something that Shadow often lacked. I think this card will see play.
Definitely.
Mm-hmm. But how about this next one? We've got Andreolphus. This is a 2 PP 1/2 that has Last Words draw a card. And when you evolve it, all of the followers in your hand gain Last Word draw a card. Note that when you evolve it, it only gets +1/+1 instead of +2/+2.
I think this card's so good. I love it, dude. I don't know. A lot of people are gonna hate me because I love this card, but
I don't know how much you're
really
evolving it though.
Yeah, so this is basically a Skull Cradle Widow, and instead of gaining +2/+2 on evolve, it instead gives all your cards in your all your followers in your hand Last Words draw a card. So that, I mean, the ability is really strong, but you have to evolve a card into a 2/3. I don't know how often you can do that without getting run over by some kind of aggro deck.
I've evolved Skull Cradle so many times that I can't play this card.
Yeah, I think it's a lot more relevant than people think, that this card is so small when it evolves that it often will not kill what you need it to kill.
I mean, if this card is as broken as everyone thinks it is, it's gonna be like, they're gonna nerf it, then they'll like Last Word, draw a card next game, right? It's just really not that good. I can't really see it like drawing an infinite amount of cards and that being positive, right? Like, let's just say you play this card and then you stack the effect, and you stack the effect some more and have lots of fun, but no. Please no.
Honestly, I feel like this is one of those cards that's gonna go like under everyone's radar.
I don't
And
think
it's gonna
it's under
make Shadow
people's
really
radar. I think a lot of people are rating this card very, very highly.
Oh, wow.
Wait, are people rating it highly? I've heard
Yeah,
like nothing
they
but
are.
bad things about it.
Everyone's hyping this up.
I think people are hyping this up. I don't think this card is anywhere near what they're saying it is.
I think you need to play with it to understand how powerful it is.
Like, this is Evolve Lose to D-Shift. I really approve. You know.
Yeah.
Haven value is much greater than this card. This doesn't give you anything on the board. It just gives you cards in your hand that you'll never be able to play.
I mean, one of the things I don't like about this card is that when I'm playing a shadow deck, like let's say mid shadow, a lot of the cards in my hands are spells or cards that are really expensive and kind of take time to do the thing, like Ektar and Immortal Thane. Like, I'm several turns away from my payoff, and my payoff isn't even that good.
I think this card's most likely gonna get played in like aggro shadow or Nep. Just like sub out some Skull Cradles for this.
I feel like it has to be mid-range.
I feel like you
Aggro?
cannot
don't wanna
play
evolve
this.
this?
Yeah,
I don't think aggro can run this card, and I don't think midrange wants to run this card. You already draw
Nep
so much.
missed everything, right?
I-
Like, it doesn't hit anything in Nep.
yeah. I think this card is a joke in Nep. Like, your Nep deck is by and large spells. That's just the design. That's just the way most Nep decks are built. So
Like,
this card will do nothing in that
Give
deck.
me a shadow control deck, right? Like if someone makes a shadow control deck that is kind of like rune control or forest control with like 37 or 40 followers, and you play this card, then I'd be like, this is the most amazing card I've ever seen. But if not, no, stop.
Yeah. Keep in mind while we're talking about this card, we're not saying it's like bad because obviously it's a Skull Cradle Widow most of the time,
Yeah, definitely. This is a
and
good
Skull
card.
Cradle Widow is a fine card. We're just saying it's not like this kind of like strict upgrade on Skull Cradle Widow that everybody is hyping up.
And Skull Cradle doesn't really see play.
Yeah, and that card, yeah, Skull Cradle is not that common these days because you already have so many cards that just draw cards. So I don't think this card's amazing. I don't think it's bad. It's somewhere in the middle.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's playable. It's not broken.
Mm-hmm.
It's playable. It's build aroundable. It's there, and it's an option that some people can explore.
I mean, there is such thing as too much card draw in mid shadow.
Yeah, there actually is. That deck often has just too many cards, anyways. Okay, so that's enough about that one. How about Mail of Obliteration? It is our first Shadowcraft Legendary. It is a 7PP07. Of course, its fanfare is gain +1 attack for each allied follower destroyed during this match. So this could be huge. What do we think of this card?
Anomaly 2.0.
I don't know what deck would play this, honestly. Like,
I mean,
what
it's
would-
cool, but it's just a big follower that does nothing.
yeah.
Yeah,
Like-
it has no ability basically.
Maybe if it had like protection from like spells and like targeted abilities, like Tolkien Giant, like this would be cool, but it doesn't. It would literally die to anything.
I mean, maybe if mid shadow is in a position where it's always controlling the board in a bunch of matchups, would be good.
You could give this card Ward, you could give this card Bane, you could give this card like almost anything but Drain, and this card would still be kind of awful.
I think
Well,
Ward
except
might
maybe
see play.
Storm. Storm would be good.
Ward,
Yeah,
Ward
if
or
it had Storm, that'd be cool. But like,
Yeah.
like I said earlier, like the 7 and 8 drops are like really important drops for Shadow, and I feel like this just doesn't do enough to.
This is a vanilla, right?
Yeah,
We don't like vanillas.
this feels like more of like a neutral card, honestly,
Yeah.
rather than like a Shadow card.
This card is like a big fairy dragon.
Don't worry, right? If you play your Loki,
Big
it's gonna
bad
double
fairy
the
dragon.
attack.
It's slightly better than Fairy Dragon because you don't have to play fairies. But...
I don't think it's better than fairy dragon. This card doesn't have
Fairy Dragon's
Ward.
better. It has Ward.
I mean, at least if you play this, they probably have to answer it or die.
I mean, the same could be said of fairy dragon. Right?
Really? I mean, how many fairies are you playing? I didn't play any Fairy Dragon decks, even though I crafted 3.
You crafted 3
Wait,
fairy
what?
dragons?
I don't have a single one yet.
I'm very sorry.
Crafting fairy dragons ever? What?
Went through the whole expansion, did not get a fairy dragon. Feel sad.
Okay. Middle of Obliteration. I think this one's free dust. Honestly, I don't know. It's probably is this the worst card we've seen all day?
Yes.
No.
No.
No,
No, we have definitely seen worse.
definitely seen worse. Okay. All right. So maybe not the worst.
But,
All
but,
right,
but imagine pulling this from a pack. I would feel considerably more sad about pulling this from a pack than any of the other bad cards that we've seen.
I
Really?
don't know. I'm a little different, right?
I feel worse pulling Prime Dragon Keeper.
Yeah, but
Okay.
at least you can meme with
Yeah.
that.
I don't know. Like, if I open any legendaries at all, I feel happy. Let's be real.
Yeah, it is still 1,000 dust. You can't be too sad about 1,000 dust.
7 mana,
What if
1,000
it's
dust.
animated, right? Like, do you feel that bad if it's animated? What if it looks really cool? It looks like it would have great.
Oh yeah, this
Yeah,
card
I
looks
think
like
an
it would
animation
be
would be cool.
a great animated card to have, but never play.
Next thing you know, this guy becomes a leader, right?
Okay, I think we've talked enough about
Yeah.
such a bad card. Okay, how about Twilight Queen? This is a 4PP 4/3, so we've got a decent body on that one. And then it has Last Words. The next time you activate a friendly follower's Last Words effect, activate it again. This effect does not stack.
2, 4, 7, 8 NEP.
Yeah, this will work with NEP, I believe. I'm not sure how it works when you pull it with NEP, though. I'm not clear on what that will do. Like, if you pull this first, for example, does it double your next one? So, like,
Yeah,
if you...
it's random. So what's probably gonna happen is if it's first, it dies, and whatever dies second goes off twice.
So we're
Oh, so
potentially talking
double
double Kawi
Mord.
or double Mord.
Yeah. Or it could be the last card, in which you have to wait for probably your Mord's gonna die.
I mean,
Yeah.
I've seen Gengar's meme with this card, which is you let this die, and then you play your Zodiac Demon on 7, and then you pull 2 Dark Alices, and then you realize that doesn't work.
Oh my god, that sounds so bad.
Love
I'm not
it.
joking, though. That is Gengar's meme right now. He has that deck, so I'm just like, hmm.
That sounds terrible. But okay, so NEP is one obvious use for this card. Are there any others? Would you play this in like a mid-range shadow, for example?
No, I don't think so.
Probably not. Okay. Yeah, it's a little painful to see this on 3 health because that is a perfect cudgel target. I would probably
Yeah.
cry if that ever
Scripture.
happened.
Or,
Yeah.
like, literally all the banishes.
Yeah.
Apart from that, I don't know. Like how good is 4PP 4/3? The next time an attendant dies, you get 2 4/4s. Is that okay, or is it like a little bit too conditional for that kind of effect?
I think it's too conditional, honestly.
Mm-hmm. Like a little bit unreliable.
Yeah, it's
Even-
probably not good.
Even
enough.
playing it in NEP is, like, a little bit unreliable.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Like, I don't know how often, like, it would...
You don't have like that many last words. Like, just trigger off your one drop, you got 4 shadows.
That sounds awful. Yeah, actually, yeah, this card in the same deck as Skull Beast sounds like a disaster waiting to happen. Yeah. Maybe we'll stick to NEP, if that. We'll see. I still am not completely sure of how it interacts with the NEP, because there's some wonky things on timing with Shadowverse, like when a bunch of things happen at once.
Well, NEP order has already shown that it goes from left to right.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes Cowie misses the heal. Searching corpse.
Yeah.
Yeah. So hopefully it works like we think it does.
Yeah. Like what if this doubles Kawi and then the opponent had only 1 follower and then you're sad? I don't know. Like
Not
that's
the worst. There's probably.
I mean, like, what happens if, like, you play this and then you lose the Mord because it filled your board?
No, you're playing 2,
Okay.
4, 7, 8. You're not playing 3.
Okay, so... Alright, that works.
Okay.
So the worst that happens is you just get a wasted proc, and that's like not the worst thing in the world. You're still getting like bored.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean,
if it's an empty board, you're getting a board on the board. It's like almost no difference from normal map, except maybe like 1, 2, 2.
This reminds me of Casino Nap, right? The old Casino Nap of,
oh
like,
yeah,
and shenanigans. This is like the same
there's
thing.
gonna be some RNG shenanigans with this card.
I mean, the thing is that the worst outcome is not even that bad.
Yeah, the worst outcome is you destroy a card, which is actually really strong.
Well, sometimes you're gonna Lurching Corpse twice and then never heal off Kawi and then be really sad. But
That's probably the worst outcome.
in general, this card will. I think it'll be fine. Probably good on average when you pull it with Nep. Yeah. Okay. All right. How do we think Shadow did this expansion?
I think Shadow did like alright.
They had like 1 broken gold, and everything else is okay.
Yeah, it's just average besides that 1 gold card.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like they're a bit scared to do anything like really crazy now, since everyone's
got a
complained
lot
about
of-
Ektar.
They got a lot of draw, which they don't need.
Yeah, they keep pushing the draw, and Shadow already is so good at drawing. Yeah. I don't think mid-range got any particularly amazing tools apart from the healing gold card. Like you guys are saying, so probably the deck doesn't change much. But Nep gets to play with Twilight Queen, and that's pretty exciting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, alright. So that's it for Shadow then. Let's have a look at Sword. So Sword's first card is Unsheathed Blade. This is a 5 PP spell that puts a Swordcraft follower from your hand into play. It gains Rush and then gets returned to your hand at the end of turn. So kind of like Sahakyo, but 5 mana, and it only works on Swordcraft followers. What do you guys think of this card?
Nothing personal, kid.
Use it with Alexander.
Everyone says Alexander, but like I've played enough Cyclone Blade, so when you have on a 2-card combo, your Cyclone Blade always hits Mage Leader, so this is not gonna hit anything.
Play a Fang Blade Slayer.
Yeah, if you play this with Fangblade Slayer, you get like a slightly improved Dance of Death. Does 3 damage to face instead of
slightly
2.
improved. Dance of Death.
If you play this with Albedo's command, you get nothing.
Can't play this with Alweda's command, come on.
There's just so many problems with this card.
Yeah, it's probably not good. Like, you probably want Alexander, but then you're playing Alexander.
Yeah, you'd have to play some kind of deck with like 3 Alexander, 3 of this card just to be consistent, and then
Lowering
like...
the quality of your
meh.
deck for combos is always the true key to inconsistency.
Yeah, I'd rather play like a Luminous Mage, or a Dance of Death, or...
Yeah, it's
anything
playing
like
Dance
that.
of Death, I think.
Yeah, it just seems more reliable. I don't know. I'm not particularly excited about this one, but it has some like nonsense combos that you could pull. Like Alexander's probably the best one. You could use it to pull. I don't know. There's like a new Iserfield for Sword. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Let's not talk about this one too much. I don't think it's great.
I mean, is it? Oh no! Like I was thinking, like, isn't there like card that turns one of your cards into like a Swordcraft card, but you wouldn't be able to like bounce it, so it doesn't even matter.
Yeah.
This is a 5-cost do 4 damage if you have a certain commander in your hand.
I mean, you can use it to like play an Albert, I guess, and then get your Albert back so you can keep it for turn 9. That seems pretty sketch to
5
me.
mana, 3 damage.
5 mana Demonic Strike, PogChamp. Yeah, okay, that just sounds bad. Alright, let's move on. So, Pollux is the next one. This is a card that you can pull with the Rune Legendary that we've been talking so much about.
This is an insane rune card.
Yeah, so this is a 5 mana 4/4. And if there is a non-Swordcraft follower on the board, you get to evolve this. And that basically doesn't take up your evolve for the turn, nor does it use an evolve point. So when it's evolved, it becomes a 6/6 with the rush.
Yeah, 5 mana, 6/6 rush for rune.
This is It's like Tia without like the super hard condition, but this doesn't have ward, so it's okay.
Super hard condition is actually pulling us off the the rune card.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it won't work in just turn. You can play this in a deck with neutrals, and it'll trigger off of that. How do you think? How good do you think that is? Like
I'd rather play Council Card Knights again.
Council Coordinates, huh? Oh, okay, maybe. Yeah, there's a lot of good 5-drops for Sword, though.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I guess it's like a slightly beefier Luminous Mage, but really, like, the 5 slot is so packed in Sword. There's like no way you could actually realistically play this card just on its own.
Alright, sounds like we're not too high on this card as far as Sword goes.
Nope.
How about King of the Horned Crown? So this is a 8 PP 7/7. Its fanfare is to deal 1 damage to all enemy followers, and its clash is to do 1 damage to all enemy followers. It's like Iserfield for Sword, that it doesn't gain life, and yeah, just you can't pull it with Saha.
Yeah, it's a pretty good comparison.
I mean,
without everything that makes it so good.
But it's a commander, so I
Doesn't
could
even
drop
have
this.
face, though.
You could drop this with support cannon.
Fine, support cannon makes us hit face, I understand.
Oh yeah, worth noting it doesn't hit enemy face, which is pretty relevant.
Oh.
This card, I mean, this card is potentially not the worst if you're pulling it off of Unsheathed Blade.
I'm just gonna say no.
I don't.
Probably better. Just play Fame Blade.
Yeah,
I'm
it's
just gonna
probably
say
just
no. Just no. Stop.
Yeah, this card just seems bad. It's just too pricey, right? Okay. Our last bronze is Flail Knight. That is a 3 PP 2/2 with Clash, deal 1 damage to the enemy. What do we think of this one?
I am very unsure about this card. Like, it seems good, it just... Like, would I play it, like, over some of the other stuff?
Doesn't
I really don't
Sword
know.
have 3 mana, 3/2s?
Yeah,
This is
Yeah.
only better. It's only better against tokens.
Yeah, I mean,
being good
this-
against weapons is a very strong thing, though.
yeah, this will kill infinite Owlcats.
Owl cats. Okay,
Yeah.
I see what you're doing.
Yeah, it'll kill infinite Owlcats. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like a 3/2 most of the time. 3/2s aren't really good. I think 2/3 is a much better stat line. Worth noting, this does trade for Grimnir's stat line, which is not nothing. But I don't think
Blood
that
Dancer also trades for Grimnir's stat line.
3/2s.
Yeah, 3/2s.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I don't know. I don't see this card seeing play. It's not like awful, but
No, that's fine.
I wouldn't really want to put it in my deck.
Yeah.
Okay. So now let's move on to silvers. Our first silver is a pretty familiar looking card. It is Princess Juliet. It's a 3 PP 2/2 with Storm. It's a commander, and it if you played a commander that originally cost 3, then this card costs 2 until end of turn.
I love
Yeah,
this
it's
card.
Commander, what's the card? The 3 mana 2/2 Storm.
Novice Trooper.
That's Commander version that you can combine with Romeo.
Mm-hmm.
Great card. I play it.
Yeah, I mean, Novice Trooper sees plenty of play already, right? I think this card is...
You can buff Novice Trooper.
I do like Romeo more, though, but this card's okay.
Yeah,
I mean, would you play another 3 Novice Troopers, or...
I think
I
you
only
would...
played 2 of these. I played no Novice Troopers.
I think you would play... I think you would play this over Novice Trooper just because it has like the random upside of costing 2 sometimes.
Even in aggro decks?
Well, that's a different deck, though.
Oh, are you talking about like controlled or mid-range?
Like more mid-rangey, yeah.
Okay, yeah, dude, we just probably replaces Novice Trooper in those decks. In aggro, we probably still play Novice Trooper.
Okay. So yeah, this card. I mean, we've already seen the card that looks almost exactly like this one. It'll see play. How about
Good
the?
against D-Shift. Always good against D-Shift.
Yeah, always good against D-Shift. How about the other one of the pair, Lord General Romeo, 3 PP, 2/3 ward. If you play a 3-cost commander, same ability. If you played a 3-cost commander this turn, then this card costs 2. So
Sure. Mars is great. I'd like to protect my Mars. This protects Mars. Good card.
Yeah.
yeah, so this is basically like the idea here is that Romeo and Juliet like can be played together on turn 5. I don't think that's anything special, personally.
Romeo and Mars is better.
Yeah, Romeo and Mars is better. Basically, both of these are worse than the Sword Legendary that's coming up. And it's just like, since this one has Ward and it protects the Sword Legendary, it will probably see more play.
Yep.
Okay. So that's it for the 2 levers. After that, we have Kuhulin, which is a 2PP 2/1 rush, and enhance 6. Until the end of your turn, this follower gains Bane and takes no damage. So
it's just like a straight upgrade from the other one.
Well,
Straight
I mean,
upgrade.
you can look at this as a straight up, well, quote unquote, straight upgrade of Shield of Flame. Is that what it's called?
Oh yeah, I forgot that got
It is.
changed.
this card's really similar to the Chain Shield of Flame. On 2, it will do only 2 damage, though, worth noting. But on 6, it'll
it does
do
an infinite amount of
damage.
Yeah, I think
And
this
summon it to
card's
one.
so good.
Yeah,
So
it's
in decks that play Shield of Flame but only needed to do 2 damage, play this instead. But if you want to kill Mars, play Shield of Flame.
yeah, it is very important actually that this card does only 2 damage on turn 2, because 3 is such a big deal. The enhance is obviously better though, because that just kills anything.
Though this does do 3 if you have Mars on.
All right, Mars this, Mars that. We're gonna get to Mars eventually.
Yeah, Mars is my favorite card. Come on.
Okay, so this one seems pretty good to me. Yeah, would you put this in your sword decks?
Definitely 3 of
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, it seems sweet, right? Like 6 PP, you get to kill anything, and then you get a 2/1. Is basically what happens on the enhanced 6. That seems good. All right. This next card is Armor of the Stars. It is a 2 PP spell that gives an allied follower resistance to targeted enemy spells and effects, as well as +2 health.
I wish this was in Haven.
Yeah, this doesn't feel like a Swordcraft card. I don't think Swordcraft really cares about effects like this.
I mean, they want to put it on their legendary, but no one's.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like it's good enough. There's only one card I can think of that's so valuable that I'd protect it with this.
But I'd protect it with Assassin instead.
Mm-hmm.
Just pop this in an Albert.
Yeah, 11 PP.
It's doable.
Put it on Hero of Antiquity.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah, that's what I thought too. Hero.
Yeah, these all seem pretty medium to me. So I don't see this card seeing play. I don't really know when you'd want to play a card like this.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's move on to the golds. So our first gold is Roundtable Assembly, which is a 5 PP spell that puts 2 random commanders that cost 3 PP from your deck into play. So note that it's exactly 3 PP. You can't get screwed and get like cheaper commanders. It's always 3 PP.
Maybe you can pull 2 Mars.
Oh god. Okay, yeah, you could pull 2 Mars.
A lot
is
of people
possible.
say this card is just kind of bad, but I just look at it in the only deck in which you would play this card, it pulls 2 Juliets, right? So it's not a bad card. It's just in the middle. It's fair.
I think this card's really good. But the 5 slot is definitely pretty packed. So
Right.
I'm not sure if
Play
this is going to be better.
Aggro Sword.
Yeah, I mean, maybe
Yeah.
if you were playing aggro sword, you pull 2 Juliets, you're pretty happy.
And you play a 1-of round table assembly. With
Yeah,
3
yeah, it's
Juliets.
gonna be weird because if you draw both of your Juliets, if you draw 2 Juliets first and you're playing only Juliet at 3, then this is just gonna be 1 Juliet and you're gonna be sad. That said, I think this card's okay.
Yeah.
I'm not like terribly excited. I don't know if I will put like 3 in every sword deck, but
It doesn't cheat any value, really.
yeah, it doesn't. I mean, it kind of cheats. You get
Well,
6
Juliet
PP of
costs
command.
2, right? Like, if you were playing...
I mean, I don't want to pull Juliet's.
Nah, the best thing is just taking out your deck.
Yeah, that's basically what...
I don't want to play Juliet's with this card unless I'm aggro. I want to play Mars.
Mars, yeah. And Romeo, Mars. Mainly just Mars.
Yeah, mainly Mars.
Mars,
Okay.
and then you pull a White Paladin, and then you evolve your White Paladin. Mars is protected.
Yeah, there's some potential here, but probably not. Okay. Let's look at Perseus. 1 PP, 1/2 commander. Evolved. When you evolve it, it gets +1 attack and a ward if there are at least 4 allied swordcraft followers in play. I believe it counts itself.
This is
Yeah.
basically just like a Vanguard replacement.
Mm-hmm.
In my opinion, this is one of the better cards. This expansion, I really like this card.
Yeah, I also really like this card. I think this card is going to see so much play.
Yeah, I mean, for sure, it's your 1-drop of choice in most sword decks that value
Commander
having a
raids.
commander in play.
1/2 with upside.
Yeah, 1/2 with upside.
And it activates all those commander
Mhm.
effects that you weren't running before, so maybe the one set.
Yeah, yeah. I think this card existing makes it more likely that those commander synergies will see play at all, because it used to be like you had to pay often how much mana to get a commander? Like 3. Pompous
Cheapest,
Princess.
yeah, 3.
And Pompous Princess was not like a particularly amazing card in commander decks before. So having this effect cost only 1 could be pretty good. And the extra stats on evolving occasionally are not particularly relevant, but it is free. It's like a free bonus.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think this card's great. I think it'll see lots of play. At the very least, you'll never have to play Goblin in your aggro sword decks again. I hope.
Thank
Now
God.
they play all the 1-drops.
Yeah, think of how many 1-drops you can put into sword now. That should be pretty exciting.
Based Psy games. Giving me all the 1-drops.
Okay. So enough about Perseus. Our next card is Lux Solar Lancer. Lux Solar Lancer is a 2 PP 1/2 with Fanfare. Add a random commander that costs 5 or less from your deck to your hand, and if you enhance 4, then it also adds a commander that costs 6 or more from your deck to your hand. Alright, what do we think of this one? Looks kind of like Maid Leader, but what are some cases where this card is better?
Seasword.
Almost every time.
Almost every time
Almost
has been
every
called.
time, yeah.
Almost okay, so we think this is just an upgrade on Maid Leader then.
Yeah.
It's also an upgrade on the Dragon search card, because all the two cards.
Yeah, it seems quite good, right? Like if you enhance for 4, you get to draw 2 cards basically, and they're 2 good cards, right? Commanders are usually pretty good cards.
Yeah, if they're going to your deck, they're good.
Yeah, like
Yeah, so like
Mhm.
basically like you just pull like an Albert and then like a Hero of Antiquity or something along those
I
lines.
think Hero of Antiquity is an officer.
Oh, is it?
Oh wait, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
it's-
okay, yeah.
I think the most common thing I've heard is I'll pull Front Guard General.
Oh, I miss Front Guard.
You could also pull something like Roland
Yeah. Roll
or Sage Commander.
Alexander, Leonidas.
I don't know about the last 2.
If someone tells me they're playing this card to have, consistency with their 5-cost bronze card to pull Alexander, I would be so sad.
Yeah, that sounds like garbage to me. I don't know about that one.
4-cost enhanced, my only 6-drop higher is Alexander. Oh my god.
Yuck.
That's
Okay, so I mean, but this card seems great. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's just Maid Leader that pulls an Albert or a Luminous
Is it-
Mage, and then
Isn't Maid Leader also a 1/1?
Yeah.
So it's like also a
better
stat.
statted. Yeah, it's also better stated. This card's great.
I love it.
Okay. All right. I know we talked a lot about sword legendaries. This is not the one we were talking about. This is Barbarossa. It is a 5 PP 5/4 rush with last words. At the beginning of your next turn, you get a Barbarossa card. If your opponent has 2 or fewer followers, the Barbarossa costs 8. If they have 3 or more, it costs 2 instead.
I think this card's insane against aggro decks.
This card is so insane.
Like, costing 2 is so good, and then if they only have 2 minions on board, that means you're doing well already.
Wait, how often do you guys think this will cost 2?
Wait, this has to die, right?
Yeah, so this has to die, and your opponent has to have 3 followers in play.
I mean, if they have less than 3, I think you're in a good position already.
Right, but we're assuming that this
but that's not what I'm
killed
saying.
one, right? So, like, I don't know, like it sounds like you're using it as a 5 PP removal.
Like if, let's just say my opponent has 5 followers, right? And I killed the biggest one. So they have 4, and my Barbarossa is still alive. Then they evolve one, play another, smack my face. Then I kill one, and now this costs 2, right? And I still can't play 2 of them. I'll play one of them in like a Geno, kill 2 of their cards, and then they evolve another thing into my face.
Oh,
Like,
you
who
already
dies,
you already died on the first evolve to face, I think.
I think that already happened. You've lost it already.
Yeah, I already died.
So, right, like what I'm trying to say is, like, how often are you going to kill 1 follower from a board of 4 followers and, like, not kill anymore, right? You can't. If you kill any more, then this Barbarossa costs 8. Then your opponent, like,
I mean, I don't think
Has
you
it
mind if it costs
killed-
8.
you know.
Oh, I mind a lot if this cost 8.
Right, I feel like this card, like,
This card is worse than Geno, but if you are okay with having a worse than Geno card in your deck, then I'd play it. It's
I mean,
not.
it's 5/4, and then you get the value. You've already gotten value off it, and then you just have another one for later.
Yeah, I know. It's fine. It's
I mean, I understand, like, it's got infinite value, but, like, if you're playing this against an aggro deck, like, you basically played a card that's worse than Dance of Death on turn 5. Like, how often have you played against an aggro deck and said, I want a card that is worse than Dance of Death here?
Is it worth the Dance of Death?
Yeah, because
yeah, it is worse
I
than
mean,
Geno.
it leaves the body behind.
it doesn't leave a body behind. It dies to almost everything.
It really depends.
I don't know. I don't think this card's particularly good. Like, most of the time it's gonna act as 5 mana removal and then come back to your hand as an 8 cost. And that's okay in a slow matchup, but, like, I don't know.
Like what I
Like-
want to see, the ideal situation is I run this card into my opponent. They have 3 cards left, right? After this guy dies, and they refill the board, and then I play this card for 2, and then I kill this card 3 times, right? And that's the most ideal situation. And
I'm pretty sure that the cost change occurs when the card comes back to your hand. So it's at the end of their turn.
Yeah, at the end of their turn. So
So they're forced to choose between having 3 followers on board or 2 or less.
yeah,
Which I mean,
that-
it would be
that
pretty
sounds fine.
solid for the mirror too, since
it's
like
fair.
next turn they gotta decide on like whether or not they want to play like a like a
If you
council
decide
or
not
something.
to kill this card, and this card just stays on the board, I guess it's okay.
yeah. If they leave it on the board, that's fine for you. Like, you get to kill something else with it. I'm just not like what I'm particularly not happy about is that, like, the first time you play this card, it, like, took up
The
your
first time
entire turn,
card,
and
it's
all it
weaker.
did was kill something.
It's weaker than Luminous Mage the first time you play this card. Afterwards, it's like, oh, it's better than Luminous Mage, right?
Yeah,
I don't know. This card's okay. This card's
yeah. I'm not convinced it'll see play over cards like Luminous Mage and Albert.
Yeah, I think you
like-
have to try it out.
Yeah, we'll try it out and we'll see. But yeah, so we got mixed opinions on this one. Then, so some of us think it's great, some of us think it's like, meh.
I mean, it's slightly worse than Geno. That's actually no, it's a lot worse than Geno. But
I think Geno is a much better card than this. That's my opinion. All right. Well, yeah. Like we're not gonna get anywhere until we've tested this card. Because like this is a very unusual card, right? Like we've not seen cards like this before. All right, but this next one. So this is the one we've been hyping up this entire time. It's Mars Silent Flame General. It is a 3PP 2/3. Whenever another friendly Swordcraft follower enters play, give it +1 health and Clash gain +1 attack.
If only this worked with Council of Card Knights.
I think it is good that it does not. That would be stupid.
if only Banner worked with Council of Card Knights.
So first impressions, what do we think?
It's so good.
Meta defining.
Yeah, I think the amount of stats you get are insane for a 3-drop that already is fairly priced.
Yeah, I think the best thing is that they get to keep the effect even if Mars dies.
Mm-hmm.
This is
Like,
where
imagine-
all the health gains of Alice went. They went to Mars, so I'm on this.
This is the new
Yeah.
frog.
Imagine playing Mars on turn 3 and your
And
opponent
following up
probably
with
doesn't have
Frog.
an answer, and then you follow it up. No, not the Frog, but the Geno.
The frog though. Oh, come
Dude,
on.
the Geno. Your opponent, like the Geno becomes a 5/4 on turn 4. That's absurd.
I mean, you could also like floral.
Yeah. If you're going second, you can turn 3 Mars into turn 4 Floral. The Floral becomes a 5/6. The two things that are summoned are 2/3 and 1/2, and they both get 1 attack when they fight. Like, that's just so much stats. It's actually unbelievable. Like,
My only problem is like, this thing is like almost never gonna live, like ever.
I mean, you say that, but like,
I mean, if it never lives, then I'm like, okay, they wasted the whole entire turn. I
But
smacked
yeah.
their face.
It basically has like taunt.
it has like spell taunt
Yeah, it has
and
spell
taunt.
Yeah.
It has like every taunt in the game. Like, you just like if you don't answer this, you just lose, right?
Yeah, it's insane.
Yeah,
Yeah, like
it's a must answer pretty much.
it's a must answer, and it costs 3 PP. Like, your opponent doesn't get to Evo right away.
Yeah, I think this
I
has to be
think-
like one of the best cards in the set, honestly.
I think this is
Yeah.
potentially the best card in the set.
Well, I can't push that far. I think it's one of the best.
I think. What's the other best card? Is it Arrow Barrage?
It's Arrow Barrage, Cassiopeia. Let's see.
New Eidolon.
I don't know about New Eidolon.
Actually,
I think
think
this
the
card-
forest cards. I think forest cards are stronger than this.
Okay, right. But definitely like top 5 best cards.
Probably top
Yeah,
10.
probably.
Yeah, I think this card's insane. I think Sword will be terrifying to play against anytime they get to lead Mars into anything.
I hope Fantasy will teach me how to play Sword. You know, have a great time.
Yeah, this card's nuts.
Tell me play this, don't play around anything, win the game.
Yeah.
Yes!
I fully expect this card to be so good that we start like not seeing that many neutrals in Sword anymore.
Definitely.
All right, so that's crazy. How did Sword do in general?
It did so well.
Pretty good.
Yeah, Sword's great, right? Like we got a sweet 3-drop. We got a improved Maid Leader. We got a better 1-drop.
We've got a ton of sweet 3 drops.
Yeah, we got a
Or
bunch of
drops.
decent 3-drops. Yeah.
I mean, 2 cost cards. They're not really 2 drops, but you know.
Mhm.
They combo with Mars. That's what matters.
Yeah, everything combos with Mars. That's a Sword card.
Yeah.
Yeah, Sword did great.
Mars is like Banner on 3. If
Mhm.
you're more defensive. Quote, unquote.
Okay. So our last class is Runecraft. So, Runecraft's first card is Starseer's Telescope. This is a 1 PP Earth Sigil, and it has Earthright. Draw a card and restore 1 PP.
Probably replace Scrap Golem with this.
Yeah, I'm a huge sucker for card draw, so I love this card.
Replace Scrapbook? That's an interesting one.
I mean, it has to replace something if it's gonna see play.
Yeah, I guess so.
I like this card. Yeah. Basically, the Earthright is kind of weird, but what it means is if you already have an Earth Sigil in play, you get to replace this with the top card of your deck.
But then that means you lose quote-unquote Earthright in your deck if you replace an Earthright in your deck with this card.
I mean, do you usually have too many pieces of dirt or too little?
I have too much dirt.
I usually okay, especially with Magic Illusionist, I usually have too few. I always want more.
Well, I guess it depends. I usually end up with too little.
I
Too much. I usually have too much. I usually end up drawing all my removal. Like,
Yeah, if your problem is that you have too much, this card is great. I think because it'll replace itself for free.
I think it really just depends if you draw the Illusionist.
Yeah. Magic Illusionist is a weird card that like makes it so when you have it, you have too few sigils, and when you don't have it, you have too many. Is basically my experience.
So this is great. As a person who always has dirt and no actual activators.
Yep.
Pretty much.
But then, if the opposite ever occurs to me, I'll feel the pain that everyone else had.
I mean, you could just keep it, just add this to your deck, but I just don't know what we're taking out. So it's just free cycle, but I don't know what you're taking out to put in 3 free cycle cards.
Yeah, I'm not sure because that deck, like, Earthright already had so many good cards. I'm not really sure what gets cut for this. I think it's good. I just haven't figured out how to put it in my deck yet. All right. How about the next one? So our next one is Magic Owl. It is a 2PP 2/2, and when you evolve, spell boost your cards twice. Haven't we seen a card like this before?
Yeah.
Like evolve.
It costs 3 mana.
3 PP
2, 3,
2/3?
4.
Oh yeah, but this one gets full stats and evolve, so this one becomes a 4/4. What do we think about this one?
I love it.
Maybe
Right.
in the
No.
shift?
Just no. This makes D shift slower.
I mean, would you play this over Levi?
Definitely not.
Definitely not in place of Levi, so probably won't play this.
Yeah, that's
There's a
That's
reason
my
why
biggest
the other
problem.
card didn't see play.
the
It
other one.
wasn't the cost, it wasn't the body. It was just spell boost 2 for an evolve turn and lose the game.
Yeah, also, we're getting that new rune card that we'll talk about later, and you don't want to get this card from that card.
Yeah. Okay. Magic Owl. Not as good as Levi. Alright. How about Lightning Lancer? This is a 4 PP 4/3 that when it evolves deals 3 damage to an enemy follower. It gains only +1/+1 on evolve.
Dragon Warrior.
Yeah.
Speaking of cards that are worse than Levi,
Worse than Levi, worse than Halo Golem, slightly better than Dragon Warrior.
If there's some kind of mid-range rune deck with no dirt and no spell boost, I play it.
if this just dealt 3 damage to an enemy, it'd still be like, you know.
I mean, Runecraft went from the definitely worst arena class to almost playable because of this card.
oh yeah, for sure. This is dominant in arena. Like none of the other classes get to play this anymore. This is a really powerful thing.
It'll be the only class that has like a 3 damage evolve consistently without conditions.
Yeah.
Because Tina was already strong enough. This card's better, but still no, not.
Yeah, I just don't understand why this card would ever see play when Levi exists. That's my biggest problem.
Maybe you're just sick of Levi. Maybe you just don't want to play a man as all dirt. Then you get this card, and then you cry because you didn't spell boost one, and you lose the game because your D shift cost too much.
Yeah, like I just like it doesn't fit in this class basically.
Yes, I want to play it. I want to make a mid-range deck with no dirt, no spell boost.
I have never seen that one before. Okay, how about Astrologist of the Mist. So this is a 6 PP 5/6. That's a pretty big body for a rune already. Its fanfare is if another allied follower is in play, use Earthright, give +1/+1 and ward to an allied follower.
There's a 6 mana 5/6 that spell boosts all your cards by 5. If they're not spell boosted, that card has ward, that card doesn't see play.
I mean, this is better than like tempo deck.
So this costs 6 PP and is Earthright and is not Professor of Taboos or Master Mage Levi.
Yeah, I probably wouldn't play it over Taboos.
Or Calamitous Curse.
That slot
I
is
don't
so
know.
stacked. It's hard to see this as playable.
Yeah, 6 costs an Earthright deck. It's just those cards are almost like broken.
Yeah, it's probably not a bad card if those other cards didn't exist. You play this one, but yeah.
Yeah, okay. It's unfortunate. I don't think this one sees play. Okay, Magic Gun Hunter. This is a 3 PP 2/2. Fanfare. If there are no other followers on your board, gain Rush, and until the end of your turn, it gains Last Words, add a Magical Hunter to your hand.
I love this card.
So yeah, basically, if this is the only follower that you have, it gets to attack right away, and when it dies, you get the card back.
Just shoot them with carrots over and over.
Yeah, it's like a carrot with Rush. I think that's cool. But how good is it?
And this theoretical no dirt, no spell boost range deck, it's pretty good.
You think that's what they're pushing this set? Is like no dirt, no spell boost?
I mean,
No, they're pushing dirt.
I guess you could still run it in like neutral.
Yeah, maybe.
Neutral. It's not a neutral though.
I don't think you would play this in neutral.
I mean, something, but like,
There's just some weird cards that don't fit in dirt and they don't fit in spell boost, so I
Yeah,
don't know.
it's a strange card.
What do we
I mean,
play this guy?
you could play this in something like Queen Shift, where like they don't particularly want Earthquake cards
Shit
or
probably sounds
spells,
good.
and they often just need more removal.
Yeah, that's
Because like 3 PP 2 damage repeatable, I think that's pretty strong.
yeah, it's better than Star Phoenix.
Yeah, kind of.
Well, I mean, it's more consistent than Star.
Mhm.
Well, not consistent isn't the right word. It's more like it's more spammable than Star Phoenix.
Yeah, it's more likely to come back, I think, because this thing's always gonna die when it hits something, right?
Yeah.
No, Star Phoenix will always come back. You can always just place Star Phoenix on the board.
Oh yeah.
This is just more immediate.
Yeah.
Mhm.
If you
Alright.
need to play a 3-drop, you cannot drop this card. That's the issue.
So are we gonna go with decent card, no home?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I think.
I like it.
Okay. All right. Lorea, Dancer of the Sun. So I believe this is Pascal's sister or something like that.
That's what I heard.
It is a 4 PP 3/4, so a Goliath, with the ability, if you have no friendly Earth Sigils, summon one. And enhance 10, double the attack and defense of all other friendly followers. What's going on here?
If you have Loki, you actually quadruple the stats of all your followers.
Oh my god. You
Just to
monster.
mention, if you have a D shift too, right? And after that, feels great.
All
You
right.
attack with everything.
So this is a meme, is what I'm hearing.
Oh,
Wait,
it's a
actually-
definite meme.
Actually, wait. What if?
Queen shift. Oh.
Okay, no, you can't queen
No,
shift
you
with
can't
this
queen shift
because
this.
this is
Okay.
a no disaster.
What if
If you have a board on turn 10, basically
Yeah.
kill them.
Are you gonna say, what if we, I don't know, turn this into a troll card, right? And then queen shift?
Yeah,
What, so they'll play your queen, then play your...
play your D shift, and then you have to wait a turn because it's in enhance.
Yeah.
You have 14, yes.
PogChamp, 14 damage.
I
Okay,
can't even play Queen because this D-shift takes the spot of the rune card.
this just I don't know.
So
Okay, so the enhanced 10, I don't think that's ever gonna happen. What do we think of a 4 mana 3/4 that summons an Earth Sigil though?
that's okay.
Okay.
It would have been decent, but we just got another card that's better than this card.
Okay, feels bad.
Yeah,
So
You probably have a sigil on board on turn 4, so you won't summon anything.
Yeah.
Especially because of the next card. Wait, is it
Okay. Yeah. So let's have a look at this other card. So this one is Carl Pious Instructor. Wait. One over here says Fru. Oh well. It's some kind of instructor. 3PP 2/3. Whenever a friendly Earth Sigil enters the play, heal 1 defense to your leader. Fanfare, summon an Earth Sigil. So it's like Healing Angel that gains 1 less life, but also makes an Earth Sigil.
It's pretty insane.
That
You get
that
healing
sounds
without running
great.
your horrible 2/5 heal for 5 card.
Are we calling Veteran Alchemist horrible?
No, it's not really. I don't know. It just feels bad playing it.
Yeah, it does feel bad playing that card. Yeah, so this is Incidental Life Gain, which is a thing that I really like.
I mean, it's incidental healing. It's fair stats, and you're getting an Earth.
Yeah, I think.
better than your Dwarf Alchemist that you play on 3? Because people do that a lot.
Yeah, sometimes you play Dwarf Alchemist, and then immediately play the Sigil, and this is just better than that.
Yeah, save your Dwarf Alchemist for the evo turn.
Yeah. I like this card a lot. I think it'll see tons of play.
I absolutely
You can
love this
look at it
card.
differently. Like, this is an Earth Sigil card. It just happens to be a rune follower, right?
Yeah, exactly. I think this is just so good. Alright, we all agree this card's great, or
Yeah, it's
one of the
great.
strongest.
card's great. Okay. Concentration. This is a 3PP spell. It draws 2 cards, but if you have Earthright, you draw 3 instead and heal 1 defense. What do we think of this one?
I love it. It's so good.
I knew Sapphire would say that.
Yeah. I don't know. I just want to play this on like a more of like a control dirt list.
Does Queen Shift really need to draw?
Oh no, every single
yeah.
day, this card is harder to put inside a deck.
Yeah, because there's just so many good cards you could be playing instead.
Yeah, instead of drawing the card I need, I draw this to draw 2 other that might not be the card I need.
I don't think that's a fair argument because,
It's
I mean,
not.
if you draw more cards, you're more likely to draw the card you need, right?
Yeah, technically. I just don't like this.
Yeah, it's just a question of whether or not you're able to find room in your deck.
It's
Like people have been saying that this is D-shift support, which
No.
I find kind of questionable because, like, whenever I'm playing D-shift, the hardest part is finding space to play cert caches, and this, I mean, drawing 2 cards is better than drawing 1 for sure, but like the spell boost 2 on the sort cache allows you to find room to play it.
You don't need to draw cards in D-Shift.
Yeah,
You have
exactly.
enough card draw.
D-shift draws so many cards already. I don't really see this being great in D-shift. How about the Earthright side of things? Are we looking to do that?
if there's
Queen
a
Shift
control
can.
Earthright, yeah, sure.
So we're saying like not in like the more aggressive decks, but
Yeah, control dirt.
okay.
Yeah, it's really strong. If you draw 3 for 3 and heal 1.
Yeah, for sure. Drawing 3 cards for 3 mana and healing 1 is going to be insane. How often would you play a card like this that just says draw 2 cards for 3 mana?
You know, like, I don't know, someone just recently said something about the non-dirt, non-spell boost meta, right? I'd play
Alright.
Neutral Amulet instead of this card.
Oh, yeah, fair point.
Oh.
Well, that's not true, because, well,
Well, this draws 2
I mean,
cards.
this draws the cards
one,
right away.
But the enhanced effect is sometimes more useful in a no spell boost, no Earthright meta.
Okay. Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah.
Alright, so you gotta be Earthright to like this card, and then even then you kind of don't want to be aggressive Earthright, because...
Yeah,
Yeah, okay. Okay, alright. Sounds good to me. So after that, we're looking at golds now. Our first gold is Europa, a 3PP 1/4. It has Enhance 5, Evolve this follower. So when you play it for 3, it does nothing. But when you evolve it, it has Storm, Bane, and Ward. I heard they printed a 5 PP card just like this. It's called Council of Card Knights, and it makes 3 1/3s instead of a single 1/4.
Yeah, this card wishes this Council card. It's still pretty good though, in my opinion.
Wait, pretty good. Why? How? What?
What situation?
I think it's still pretty easy to get a 2-for-1 off this card without using an Evo.
Okay, so you're saying like enhance
yeah.
it and then hit like a 3 power or something?
Yeah.
Okay, so like it survives that hit and then it stays on the board as Storm as a Bane ward and then can kill another card on its way out. Okay, that's fair.
Only for like super control-y decks, though. I wouldn't play this anywhere else.
I just start remembering White Ridge Swordsman though.
Poor White
I'm
Ridge
sure he
Swordsman.
takes an evolve, but White Ridge Swordsman, I will miss him.
Oh man.
This is sort of like White Ridge Swordsman, slightly better sometimes.
Yeah, because like not demanding an evolve point is nice.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't like this one at all. I feel like too often the card you want to kill on your opponent's side is gonna have 4 or more attack, and then it's gonna be 5 PP kill something.
But then again, like, why would you play this instead of like
Fine, though.
Levy, Piercing Rune, you know, like that whole thing? I don't know.
Yeah, this goes into that hypothetical not spell boost, not earthright.
Yeah, this is in that deck.
Yeah, I don't know.
Exactly.
That entire deck seems questionable to me.
Yeah, I don't know. If we play with this a bunch, it turns out it's dying a lot, then it's probably bad, and we should play it.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
It's like this is just play test a bit, and it really dies too much when you're playing it without getting 2-for-1. It's just bad.
Mm-hmm. All right. So not so much on that one, but how about Wild Golem? This is a 5 PP 2/3. But it has a pretty sweet ability. At the end of your turn, deal 1 damage to a random enemy follower X times, max 10, in case you were cheating
Let's
somehow.
quadrupled stats, right?
Yeah. So let's just say equal to its power, and it basically for each 1 attack this does 1 random damage to an enemy follower, and it has an Earthright that gains +1/+2. Actually, pretty important to mention. When it evolves, it only gets +1/+1.
Evo, it's gonna be a 4/6.
Yeah, 3/4
with
without
Earthright, yeah.
Earth and 4/6 with, yes. So what do we think of this one?
Man, I really don't like it.
I think it's really good.
Fair card.
Maybe.
I mean, like, I really don't see like a situation in which you would play this.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's pretty good at clearing the board.
I mean, for 5 drops, it's pretty solid.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, what dirt 5 drops are you playing?
What do you like?
That's why I think this is pretty good. It's like there's not that many 5 drops to play dirt.
Mm-hmm. So this does this card require an Earthright? Like, is this card good enough if you don't have an Earthright?
No.
Definitely not.
Depends on their board.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So it sounds like it really depends on their board, like whether or not this is good. But like with the Earthright, are we looking at a pretty strong card here?
Very solid.
Yes.
Okay.
I think it's alright.
All right. Sounds like we're somewhere between this card's good and this card is all right. So on average, this card's decent, I think.
Playable?
Playable? All right. Seems good enough for me. Sounds like I messed up the order again. So the next one is this one is called, what happened? Oh, okay. This card's called Chain of Calling. Okay. Sorry, I messed up the order. This card's Chain of Calling. This is a 2 PP spell. It adds a random runecraft follower from your deck to your hand. What Runecraft followers are we hoping to get with this?
37
Levy.
spell giant chimera.
Yeah, Levy, Chimera, Flame Destroyer.
But would you even need to play this in like those certain decks?
Yeah. So you don't draw the card that you need.
Yeah, I think it's pretty good in D-Shift. It's definitely better than Trail of Light.
Alright, that's true.
I don't know about that.
Is it definitely better than Trail of Light? Trail of Light draws potentially a spell.
It is sometimes better than Trail of Light.
I'd say most of the time, like...
If I have a Merlin and then I draw another Merlin,
I guess...
Yeah, I think.
I still think this is pretty good. I'd replace the Trail Lights, but yeah.
Yeah.
like if I would replace the Merlin and a Trail of Light for 2 Chain of Callings, I'd understand.
Yeah, you can probably replace a Merlin or two if you're playing this, because you'll draw them more likely with this.
Yeah, I think one of the problems I have with this in D-Shift is you're likely to be pulling a card that requires an evolve point to be useful. And, like, how often are we going to have so many evolve points that we have one for every single one that we pull? I mean, if you pull Flame Destroyer, you're probably pretty happy, though. And it is only 2 mana to draw a card, basically. So it's not bad. I don't think it's particularly strong, either.
I like how they specifically didn't make it like put a random Runecraft spell boost follower, right? It just Runecraft follower.
Yeah, if it said
So they
something
can
like...
have that weird shenanigan of no dirt, no spell boost.
Yeah, this card, wait, does this card support the
No.
Oh, really? I didn't look at this card.
I don't think so.
Terrible.
This,
2
that
mana
doesn't
draw
sound-
card, and this is bad.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think I'll
Combo
play this
decks.
card. Yeah, this is for... I think I have one specific Runecraft follower in mind that we're gonna see soon.
Chimera.
Yeah, its name is Chimera.
And you
Okay.
aren't playing Lefty.
Yeah, I don't know about that. Yeah, the more I think about it, the worse this card sounds.
37 spells, 3 chimeras. I built
Okay.
it. It's terrible because you don't have Levi.
Yeah. Okay. How about Stella Reader of Stars? So this card we've been talking about a lot. So every time we said this is the card that the new Rune Legend can pull, this is the Rune Legend we're talking about. It is a 2PP 2/1. At the end of your turn, randomly add one of the following cards to your hand: Venus, Pollux, Star Phoenix, Castor, Scorpio, or Andromeda. So it takes one card from each of the other classes, and it can randomly add that to your hand at the end of every single turn. So when you play this, you're pretty much guaranteed to get that card. What do we think of this one?
This is the reason for the no dirt, no spell boost deck, because I couldn't fit it into any of the other 2 decks.
Exactly. Actually, well, it could fit in some dirt decks, but realistically, no.
Dirt feels so tacked, because you really need that really
Yeah,
nice...
You'd rather replace this with a telescope, right?
Yeah, you really need that good mix of sigils and activators.
That's
Mhm.
the issue.
So yeah, this card doesn't seem to have a home, but on power level, what are we thinking? Like,
Okay, so let's look at the 6 cards we can pull and how many of these are actually good.
so the first one's Venus. Venus is
That's
fantastic,
great.
right?
Yeah.
It's pretty
Especially,
good.
like, if you can pull Venus every time, I think this card's amazing. What about Pollux? That is the 5PP 4/4 that evolves immediately if you have a non-Swordcraft follower.
Sure.
Very good.
Yeah, it seems pretty good to me. Star Phoenix, the 3PP 2/2 rush that comes back to your hand whenever you cast a spell.
Also very good, you're ruined, so you
Yeah,
probably
you're ruined, right? Yeah, you have so many spells, so that Star Phoenix is going to generate insane value. Castor, this is the 4PP 2/3 that gains last word summon a caster if you have exactly one other follower.
Could worse.
Bad. Okay. Scorpio, the 2PP 1/1. Oh, the 2PP 1/2 with Bane and Clash do 1 damage to your leader.
Average.
Definitely the worst.
Really? Now that I think about it, I would
Yeah,
rather
it's
play
pretty
this
bad.
over Caster.
Huh, overcast?
I'd do this over
Okay, yeah,
Caster
over
or
Caster.
Andromeda.
And yeah, the last one, as mentioned, is Andromeda, the 2 PP that, when it evolves, prevents all damage to your other followers this turn.
It makes my snowman invincible. It's sort of fun.
Yeah.
That sounds pretty weak.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
So I say 3 of them are good, 1's average/bad, and 2 are just bad.
2 are just terrible.
Uh-huh. So how about this card then? 2 PP draw, like, potentially a good card, or potentially a pretty bad card.
Like the bad cards, you don't feel like, oh, I lost the game because I drew.
Yeah, it's just extra.
Yeah,
so.
they're like 2 PP 2/2 or 2 PP 1/2 Bane.
Yeah.
Or, well, Caster's probably the worst by far.
Yeah, I'm starting to think Caster's the worst one.
Yeah, that like 4 PP 2/3 seems like a disaster to me.
Yeah.
So that's the only one where I think you won't feel like you've drawn a card.
I think the card's good, just know where to put it.
Yeah.
And it's a 2/1 body.
Mm-hmm. It reminds me of Baphomet, like 2 PP 2/1 that draws a card, but I mean, sometimes it lives and then you just you drew 2 cards.
Oh yeah.
Because I mean,
first?
how often? Yeah, like if you're going first, how often are they gonna have an answer for your 2 PP play?
This incentivizes. That's Sling Face with Stella. So
Yep.
another card.
Yeah, exactly. You won't, like, if they play their 2/2, then you swing face with Stella and you draw that extra card.
And you play Star Phoenix and
Reward.
kill their 2/2.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's amazing, right? Like, I think this card's so strong, it just doesn't have a place to be right now.
And is very unreliable.
Yeah, I mean,
really good.
yeah. If this card drew Venus every time, I think it'd be one of the best cards in the set, but...
It's a little much.
doesn't.
If you got to pick between 3 of the 6 cards, then yeah.
Oh yeah, if you got to discover one.
Hearthstone now?
Yeah, Hearthstone.
Yeah, Hearthstone. I mean, I love Discover. Okay, well, so it sounds like this card just doesn't see
strong.
play.
I think it just misses the
know
mark,
where to go.
honestly.
Yeah.
No.
Unfortunate, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Such a cool card.
All right. The final card for Rune and the final card for today is Giant Chimera. This is a 9 PP 6/6 with spell boost, gain 1 damage. So that 1 damage is used for the Fanfare. So the Fanfare deals 3 damage. Basically, it does damage to the enemy followers 1 by 1. So it'll do that left to right. So it'll kill the leftmost follower, then the next one, then the next one, then the next one, and it'll repeat all the way until all the followers are dead, and then it'll do the rest of the damage to the enemy leader. So you can think of it as like a directed Will of the Forest.
And it goes through Mordecai.
For 9
yeah,
mana.
it should go through Mordecai. And yeah, let's remember that this is a 9 mana card. What do we think of this card?
Bad D-shift.
I dig it.
Okay.
Bad D-shift.
Yeah,
Very
so
bad data.
it sounds like you'd have to spell boost this a lot before it wins the game.
I have to spell boost this 37 times, and I'd be like, okay. I'll for sure win the game, right?
Yeah. So like it's a spell boost win condition that doesn't win the game instantly, kind of like D-Shift does.
I don't know, if you spell boost this 18 times, right? That's not really how many spell boosts you need for D-Shift, but let's just say 18, right?
Mm-hmm.
It does 21 damage. That's not going to kill your opponent.
Yeah, because it deals damage to their followers first.
No, they will have a board.
Yeah, it's turn 9. If they don't have a board, you already won. Right? Yeah, I don't like how this compares to D-Shift, but
It's kind of like the whole situation. You play this instead of D-Shift, and you're like, oh, surprise, I'm Giant Chimera, but in reality, they would be more scared if you were D-Shift.
yeah, I think people will play this card and be like, it won me the game, but then when you ask them, wouldn't D-Shift have won you that game? It'll be a pretty awkward silence.
Mhm.
But the one thing I think about this card that's worth mentioning is, unlike D-Shift, you have a way of actually just tutoring for it with the cyclic spell. The one that adds a random Runecraft follower from your deck to your hand.
Yeah,
That is something. I don't think that makes it good, though, unfortunately.
probably not.
Yeah. And apart from a very D-shift-like deck, is there anywhere you would put this card?
I mean, I would never replace D shift and Queen shift. 'Cause D shift is better.
Mm-hmm.
It's also not common that you spell boost in Queen shift that often.
Yeah.
Or else you would just play D shift.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
I think
Uh,
overall, it's like
Wait, how does this work in Queen Shift?
It doesn't.
I have no. I don't think it does. I don't
Oh.
think anyone who wants to put this in Queen shift is a good idea.
Wait, what did you just say there? I didn't hear you.
Huh? Oh, I was just saying that some people recommend it to put this in Queen shift, and I'm just like, what? Why?
I really don't understand how, because then you aren't doing D shift.
Right? It does 3 damage.
Okay, so this one also misses the mark, but is just a worse card.
I think it's a fun card, but you know,
Yeah, it's a cool card.
It misses the
So-
mark definitely.
Yeah, I mean, I'll definitely build the giant chimera deck and see if that works, but I'm not.
You will?
Yeah, I will, dude. Come on, this looks sweet.
It looks like I'm gonna spell boost to like 20 and then die.
Yeah. But you know, it just looks like fun, and plus you can boost this with like the Daria followers if you want. That sounds pretty terrible, but you know you can.
6/6 and Daria, alright.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. I don't know. Competitive, I don't think this card will have an impact.
Definitely not.
No, I think it's pure trash.
All right.
I don't know. A bad King Elephant, right?
Yeah. Okay. I've had enough. All right. So what do we think of Runecraft this set?
Dirt.
They got some neat cards that boost their existing archetypes.
Dirt
then
in
they
a
got-
positive way.
Yeah, and then they got a bunch of cards that don't fit in neither one of them.
Mm-hmm.
I think Dirt
And
definitely
there's
got some
actual-
stuff that they needed, but besides that, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't think these shit got cord. I think that card's good.
Okay.
Yeah, basically.
So D-Shift got a card that they could add. Earthright got a couple potential new toys. But the rest of the cards kind of seem to fall under this
Not a
category
deck.
of not a deck yet. Okay. Alright, that was the last class of the review. Any final thoughts on this? Like, what do we think overall of this set?
I think overall this set is a pretty solid set. I think it set up like a good foundation for like future card sets.
Yeah, I think they're getting ready to rotate. You can tell there's some cards that copy old cards.
Yep.
Yeah, I agree with that actually. It looks like they're trying to make sure that certain effects are staying in the game without like totally just reprinting something. And then yeah, like I think if this set becomes like the defining level of power for future sets moving on, I think that's a pretty healthy place to be. I don't like the Wonderland Dreams and Tempest of the Gods power level were just way too high, right? So
Yeah.
maybe this is like the starting set for like the rotations, like, and then from there they can continue to print cards of about this power level without like ruining the game every time.
Yeah, there's a lot of cool combos.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Game definitely got slowed down.
Alright,
Nothing came out like we said we thought it was broken, like Spawn.
Mm-hmm. All right. So.
Alright, so we want to thank you guys for sticking around and watching the card review. Also, I'd like to take this time to congratulate Jay-Z on his second time winning NGE.
Thank
You
you.
did a pretty good job, man. And if you'd like to see his article they wrote up, you can see that over at ManaSurge.team, as well as follow us on Facebook at facebook.com/ManaSurge, as well as at Team ManaSurge over on the Twitter. But right now we're going to host a channel, and we hope you all enjoy the Starforged Legends set. So, do you guys want to host Pot Washer?
Yeah, fine.
Hot washer. Yeah, you go listen to some good moaning.
Hot ones are the best.
Well, I totally misspelled the Pot Washer.